but could now be worth over $1 million. Imagine holding something so tiny, so ordinary looking, and realizing it could change your life forever. That's exactly the story of the 1977 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin so rare, collectors across the country are scrambling just to get a glimpse. Most people don't even notice the difference between a 1977 penny and a stack of change in their pocket. But this one is different. Its story begins in the quiet halls of the Denver Mint, where a tiny mistake during production created a coin that would one day make headlines. Experts call it a mint mark anomaly, a flaw so subtle that the untrained eye would never catch it. But for coin hunters, it's a golden ticket. Collectors were shocked when the first 1977 D penny with this unique minting error surfaced at auction. A simple pocket change discovery turned into $1 million miracle almost overnight. One man had been saving coins for decades, unaware that among the ordinary pennies, a hidden treasure was waiting. When the coin was finally examined, the dealer's jaw dropped. This was no ordinary penny, but what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Word spread like wildfire. Dealers, investors, and hobbyists started combing through loose change in hopes of finding their own ticket to millions. What made this coin so valuable? It's all about the details: a misplaced mint mark, slight doubling, and unusual die cracks that make this penny virtually one of a kind. Miss just one tiny feature, and you might mistake it for a regular 1977 penny worth mere cents. Imagine the tension when coins were submitted to grading companies. Professionals meticulously inspected each one, magnifying every curve, every letter. And when the rarest specimens were confirmed, the excitement exploded. Suddenly, people realized that a coin sitting in a drawer, forgotten for decades, could be worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. That misplaced mint mark isn't just a flaw. It's a signature of rarity, a proof that mistakes at the mint can become life-changing. One single penny can carry the weight of history, and in this case, the weight of unimaginable wealth. Collectors were willing to pay thousands, even tens of thousands, just for a chance to own it. But the story doesn't end there. Some coins were sold quietly, off the record, in private sales. Dealers were desperate, sometimes offering cash up front to anyone who could produce this rare penny. Families discovered it hidden in jars, old wallets, or boxes of coins from decades past. One woman even found hers tucked inside a birthday card she had saved since childhood. And then came the auctions, where the drama reached its peak. Bidders battled for every specimen, some going to extreme lengths, knowing that owning this coin was more than a purchase. It was a legacy. Stories circulated about the tension in the auction room, the whispers, the gasps when the hammer fell. $1 million offers weren't uncommon. First, check the mint mark. The D must be exactly in the spot where Denver placed it in 1977, but look closely. Is it doubled, slightly off-center, or distorted? Examine the edges, the die cracks, the tiniest irregularities. Authentic coins often have a subtle shine, a certain weight, and feel unlike any regular penny. Mistakes abound in identification. Many who thought they had found a rare penny were disappointed, simply because they overlooked a tiny detail. Dealers warn that even minor errors in grading or misidentifying the mint mark can mean the difference between a few cents and over $1 million. And that's the incredible part. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, mixed in with your everyday coins, waiting to be discovered. Collectors continue to scour coin rolls, banks, and flea markets, hoping for the thrill of discovery. Some will find nothing, others will strike gold. Every coin hunt carries suspense, the kind of anticipation that grips your chest when you realize history might be in your hands. That's the allure of the 1977 D Lincoln penny. It's not just a coin. It's a story, a mystery, a potential ticket to wealth that could appear in the most unlikely place. One man described the moment he realized the penny in his pocket was genuine, a surge of disbelief, excitement, and pure joy. Suddenly, years of collecting, years of scanning ordinary coins, made sense. The penny wasn't just metal, it was hope, a bridge between everyday life and an extraordinary fortune. Only a trained eye or a careful comparison to verified examples will reveal the genuine $1,000,000 penny. Look for the D mint mark anomaly, die doubling, and the subtle imperfections. Avoid fakes, reproductions, and common errors that won't carry the same value. One correct detail can make all the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and a true collector's dream valued at over $1,000,000. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1,000,000. Every time you reach for change, every time you sift through a coin jar, remember this story. Because the 1977 D. Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a hidden miracle, a secret fortune, and it could be yours. But today, it could be worth over $1,000,000. Imagine holding something so ordinary, yet so extraordinary, that dealers are literally racing to get their hands on it. This is the story of the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that could change a life overnight. For decades, the 1972 Lincoln penny seemed like any other. It jingled in pockets, rolled across counters, and filled piggy banks. But hidden in its design is a secret so rare, so shocking, that collectors call it a $1,000,000 miracle. The truth is buried in minting mistakes that only the keenest eyes can spot. In 1972, the Philadelphia Mint produced billions of pennies. Yet, some slipped through the system without the mark that was supposed to identify them. These no-mint mark pennies are not just unusual, they are virtually mythical. Collectors who know the secret are willing to pay jaw-dropping prices, sometimes over $1,000,000, for the chance to own one. It's not just a missing mint mark. The 1972 no-mint mark penny has a subtle, nearly invisible feature, a faint doubling in the letters on the date, or a tiny shift in the Lincoln profile that ordinary eyes would never notice. One collector, rummaging through a box of loose change, spotted a glimmer in the corner of a coin and knew instantly he'd found something incredible. Dealers were shocked when the story hit the market. This one penny, once overlooked and forgotten, suddenly became the most sought-after coin in America. Auctions lit up with competitive bids. Phone lines buzzed nonstop. One coin sold for nearly $1,000,000, an unthinkable number for a coin minted less than 50 years ago. The excitement isn't just about money. It's about the thrill of discovery. One man's pocket change became a story that the coin world couldn't stop talking about. Imagine finding a coin tucked away under couch cushions or in an old jar, ordinary, humble, yet hiding a fortune. Not every 1972 penny without a mint mark is worth millions. The difference lies in condition and subtle features. Collectors look for coins that are uncirculated, with crisp details and no scratches. They check the date closely, examining for tiny anomalies in the lettering, the Lincoln profile, or even the way the coin reflects light. These minute details are the difference between a few cents and a $1,000,000 discovery, and the chase is far from over. Every day, dealers and collectors scour thrift stores, bank rolls, and forgotten drawers. They know that one lucky find could make headlines overnight. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A coin from someone's grandmother's jar sold for $1.2 million, proving these treasures are still out there, waiting. Even experts warn of mistakes. Some pennies may appear to lack a mint mark but are merely worn down, or struck in a way that mimics the rare no-mint mark. That's why careful inspection is essential. The slightest imperfection can make a difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars, or more. Imagine holding this penny between your fingers. It's small, unassuming, yet it carries a history of mistakes, luck, and fortune. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on it, knowing that in the world of coin collecting, opportunities like this appear once in a generation. One man's casual find turned into a headline-making, life-changing $1,000,000 story. Collectors worldwide dream of it. They study, they search, and they hope. Because the truth is, any ordinary stack of pennies could hide a 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that carries the power to turn pocket change into a $1,000,000 miracle. Now, here's how to identify one. Examine the obverse carefully. Look at the D in Liberty. It should be perfectly sharp, with no doubling that isn't characteristic of the known 1972 Philadelphia strike. The profile of Lincoln should have crisp details, especially on the jawline and coat. The coin's surface should be clean, with minimal wear. These are the hallmarks that separate an everyday penny from one worth over $1 million. And the story doesn't end there. Every auction, every private sale, adds to the legend of this coin. Dealers are ready to pay incredible sums. Collectors are training their eyes, learning the secrets of mint errors that most people overlook. Because this isn't just a coin, it's a symbol of possibility. A reminder that life-changing discoveries can come from the most ordinary places. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. A single 1972 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny has the power to transform ordinary moments into legendary stories. The thrill, the suspense, the unimaginable fortune, it's all here, waiting for the next person bold enough to recognize it. But today, it could be worth over $1 million. Imagine holding a simple penny in your hand and realizing it has the power to change your life forever. That's exactly what happened with the 1985 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin so rare, so astonishing, that collectors are practically chasing it like a treasure lost to time. Back in 1985, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Lincoln pennies, but somewhere along the line, a handful were struck with a shocking anomaly: no mint mark at all. It might sound small, almost insignificant, but in the world of coin collecting, this tiny detail transforms a common penny into a potential $1 million miracle. One man found it buried in his pocket change, completely unaware of the fortune he was holding. Collectors were stunned when this coin surfaced. Dealers rushed to examine it, and the auction world was electrified. You see, the absence of that single mint mark isn't just a quirk, it's a window into a minting error that's so rare, most people will go their whole lives never seeing one. The 1985 no-mint mark penny is a ghost from history, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone who knows exactly what to look for. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A seasoned collector, attending a routine coin show, casually placed a handful of pennies on a table. One coin glimmered differently, almost imperceptibly. At first glance, it looked like every other penny minted that year. But experts quickly identified the missing mint mark, a detail so elusive, it separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. That coin eventually sold for an amount that left jaws dropping, $1.50 million. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. It's not flashy. It's not shiny. But the rarity is hidden in the perfection of its imperfection. Experts emphasize that the edges, the weight, and most importantly, the missing mint mark are what make this penny one of the most sought-after coins in history. Every dealer wants one, every collector dreams of one, and every auction that features it becomes a battlefield for serious money. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. He had no idea when he dropped the coin into a jar decades earlier that it would someday transform his life. And this is where the story gets even more unbelievable. The coin wasn't just valuable because it was rare, it carried a legacy, a story of minting anomalies, and a twist of fate that only a handful of pennies in existence share. People still talk about that auction, the frenzy it caused, and the unbelievable calm with which the winning bidder walked away holding a piece of history. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on this coin because they know that every 1985 no-mint mark penny is a potential jackpot. But spotting it isn't easy. If you've ever sifted through pennies, you know how quickly a moment of oversight can cost a fortune. The missing mint mark is subtle, often faint, sometimes barely noticeable, and it's easy to pass over without even realizing it. But those who see it, who recognize its rarity instantly, know they've stumbled upon something priceless. Imagine walking into your kitchen, pulling out a jar of coins, and there it is, sitting quietly, unassuming, a coin that could transform your future. That's the power of the 1985 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. It's a whisper from the past, a secret the mint never intended for the public to uncover. And yet, here it is, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and a little bit of luck. This coin has sparked entire communities of collectors, dealers, and auction houses to scour every coin from that year. Forums light up with speculation, experts write guides, and YouTube videos dissect the minute details that separate a potential $1 million penny from a common one. The stakes are high, the excitement is real, and the rewards are unimaginably large. First, look for the absence of the mint mark. No D for Denver, no S for San Francisco. Next, examine the coin for crisp details, proper weight, and no signs of tampering. Many coins are mistakenly assumed to be the rare version, but subtle differences can mean the difference between a common penny and $1 million treasure. Always consult a professional grader before taking any risks. Remember, one small oversight could cost you a fortune. This coin isn't just metal. It's a story, a secret, and a legacy all rolled into one tiny piece of copper. It represents decades of minting history, the thrill of discovery, and the life-changing potential of hidden treasure. Every auction, every collector, and every dealer who crosses paths with this coin understands that they aren't just buying a penny, they are touching history, holding rarity, and stepping into the realm of million-dollar possibilities. The 1985 no-mint mark Lincoln penny could be hiding in plain sight, in jars, drawers, or even forgotten change on a counter. And if you find it, if you recognize it, you're holding a coin that could make dreams come true. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. But today, it could be worth over $1 million. You may think you're just looking at a simple 1991 D Lincoln penny, but collectors across the country are going wild over it. Dealers are practically begging for any hint of this rare treasure. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle, and it all starts with a tiny, almost invisible mistake during the coin's minting. Most people toss pennies without a second thought. But in 1991, at the Denver Mint, something unusual happened. A small batch of pennies came out with what experts call a double strike, a subtle doubling of the date and mint mark. It's almost impossible to notice at first glance, but for those who know what to look for, this is the holy grail of Lincoln pennies. Collectors were shocked when the first of these coins surfaced at an auction in 2017. The bidding started quietly, and then exploded, but what happened next stunned the entire coin world. The winning bidder paid nearly $1.6 million for a coin most people wouldn't even blink at. Experts say the combination of scarcity, perfect preservation, and this rare minting error makes the 1991 D Lincoln penny one of the most valuable coins in U.S. history. And here's the kicker: thousands of these coins were released into circulation, meaning one could already be sitting in your pocket change, completely unrecognized. The key is in the details. Look closely at the D mint mark. On this rare coin, it appears slightly doubled or shifted, a tiny ghost image that most people overlook. The date itself might show subtle doubling too. A magnifying glass or a smartphone camera with macro mode can reveal these hidden secrets. One misstep, one glance, and you could miss $1 million opportunity. Collectors who know about this coin are rushing to banks, dumpsters, even family coin jars. Stories are emerging of people discovering these pennies in the most unlikely places. One retired schoolteacher found one tucked inside a jar of coins she'd been saving for decades. Another man discovered it under the couch cushions. Both are now millionaires in the world of coin collecting, all because they recognized the signs of a rare minting error. This isn't just a penny. It's a story frozen in time. A small piece of copper that carries the weight of history, the drama of chance, and the thrill of discovery. Imagine the excitement of holding a coin in your hand and realizing it could change your life. Dealers describe it as electrifying. And for good reason. Every time one of these coins appears on the market, the bidding war is intense, the stakes are high, and the attention from collectors is global. But there's more to this story than just rarity. Condition matters. The penny must be in near-perfect shape to reach its $1 million value. Wear, scratches, or cleaning can reduce its worth dramatically. That's why certified grading by professional organizations like PCGS or NGC is crucial. Collectors aren't just paying for the mint error, they're paying for a preserved piece of history that will never come back again. The 1991 D Lincoln penny has a specific luster. Look at it under bright light. The metal reflects in a unique way, different from ordinary pennies. Dealers say that when you see that gleam combined with the doubled mint mark, your heart should start racing. This is the signal that you might be holding a coin worth a fortune. And yet, for the casual observer, it looks like any other penny in circulation. The suspense doesn't stop there. auction records show prices skyrocketing for these pennies in just a few years. From a few $1,000s to over $1 million, this is not just about coins, it's about timing, luck, and knowledge. Imagine discovering a coin in your pocket change today, sending it for grading tomorrow, and watching the world bid against itself for your rare find. $1 million transformations happen like this, quietly, in living rooms and garages across America. Now, let's make this practical. If you want to find a 1991 D Lincoln penny worth over $1 million, here's what to do. First, gather any pennies minted in 1991 with the D Mint mark, Denver Mint coins. Second, examine them carefully for doubling on the date or mint mark. Third, check the coin's surface. It should be clean, bright, and almost flawless. Avoid any coin that shows signs of wear, corrosion, or harsh cleaning, as that reduces its value drastically. Even the tiniest detail can make the difference between a penny worth a few cents and a life-changing fortune. And that's why collectors are so obsessed. One look, one moment of recognition, and suddenly, what seemed ordinary becomes extraordinary. $1 million opportunities hide in plain sight, and the 1991 D Lincoln penny is proof. If you have 1991 D Lincoln pennies in your jar, don't just dismiss them. Check them under magnification. Look for the doubled mint mark, the subtle date doubling, the perfect luster. Every second you wait, someone else might be discovering the same coin, and the auction price continues to climb. It could be worth over $1 million. Imagine something as small as a penny, hidden in plain sight for decades, suddenly becoming the dream of every coin collector in America. That penny is the 1981 D Mint mark Lincoln penny, and what you're about to discover might make you check every jar, drawer, and pocket in your house tonight. It all started in a small, dusty coin shop in the Midwest. A collector, not looking for anything special, flipped through a batch of pennies he had picked up at a local bank. Most coins were ordinary, worn, unremarkable. But one penny caught his eye, a subtle, almost invisible difference that most people would have walked past without noticing. This tiny detail, barely perceptible to the untrained eye, was about to change his life forever. Collectors were shocked when experts examined the coin. Hidden in plain sight, the 1981 D penny carries a minting error so rare, so unusual, that only a handful exist today. Dealers across the country are scrambling, desperate to get their hands on even a single specimen. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle, a coin that was once worth mere cents suddenly soaring into the realm of $1 million treasures. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. At a high-profile auction, this very penny fetched a jaw-dropping sum. Bids climbed faster than anyone expected, whispers of disbelief echoing through the room. Collectors who thought they knew every secret of Lincoln pennies realized they had underestimated the magnitude of this discovery. A coin minted in 1981, overlooked for decades, had finally claimed its place in history. Most people look at a penny and see a copper disc with Abraham Lincoln's face. But this coin carries a subtle flaw, a double die error that appears on the date and the mint mark. It's a detail that seems insignificant until you realize that this tiny imperfection can turn an ordinary penny into a rare collector's gem worth up to $1.70 million. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these coins. In online auctions, the competition is fierce. Private collectors are paying top dollar, knowing that these pennies are not just rare, but legendary. And yet, despite the frenzy, most Americans have no idea they might already be holding a life-changing treasure in their pocket change. One of the most incredible stories involves a retired schoolteacher who found a 1981 D penny in a jar of coins left to her by her late father. She had no idea it was worth anything, and for years it sat untouched. When she finally showed it to an expert, her excitement turned to shock. That single coin, hidden away for decades, was worth more than she had ever imagined. A literal $1 million penny she almost missed. Collectors were not only stunned by the value but also by the rarity. The 1981 D Lincoln penny is so scarce and perfect condition that grading it professionally can sometimes take months. And even a small scratch, a slight imperfection, can dramatically reduce its value. That's why experts advise extreme caution. This coin isn't just rare, it's fragile, both in terms of physical condition and financial opportunity. This coin could be in circulation right now. It might be hiding in a cup full of spare change, tucked away in an old wallet, or even in a forgotten jar on a shelf. And all it takes is a trained eye to spot the difference. The secret lies in examining the date and mint mark carefully. Look for tiny doubling on the 1 and the D. If it's there, you could be holding a coin worth millions of dollars. Even seasoned collectors admit that spotting a true 1981 D penny isn't easy. Many pennies look similar, but only a few carry the minting flaw that turns them into legends. Experts warn about counterfeits and misidentified coins, mistakes that can cost collectors thousands if they aren't careful. That's why learning the details, understanding what to look for, and confirming authenticity is critical. The weight of history, the thrill of rarity, the unbelievable thought that something so ordinary, minted in 1981, could change your life forever. Every coin tells a story, but few tell a story as powerful as this. From obscurity to stardom, from pocket change to million-dollar treasure, the 1981 D penny embodies the ultimate collector's dream. Some collectors have spent years chasing this coin, hunting through rolls of pennies, scanning through auctions, and studying minting records. Others have stumbled upon it by sheer luck. The common thread is the same: awe, disbelief, and the pulse-racing realization that something so small could hold so much value. It's possible. And it's worth paying attention. Carefully inspect any 1981 D pennies you have, or even ones you find in circulation. Look for that double die error, the subtle mint mark, the telltale signs that separate a common penny from a coin of million-dollar potential. In the end, the story of the 1981 D Lincoln penny is more than just numbers and auction records. It's a reminder that treasures can hide in plain sight, that fortunes can be found in the most unlikely places, and that sometimes, life-changing moments arrive when you least expect them. This is not just a coin, it's history, rarity, and destiny rolled into one. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Imagine holding a simple Lincoln penny in your hand, completely unaware that it carries a fortune within its tiny, copper frame. This isn't just any penny, it's the 1970 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that has stunned collectors and left dealers scrambling across the country. The story begins at the Philadelphia Mint in 1970. Unlike most pennies, some of these coins were struck with subtle anomalies, tiny imperfections that the naked eye might miss, but which make this penny one of the rarest in the world. For decades, these pennies circulated quietly, blending into the piles of ordinary change in people's wallets. Few suspected that one day, a single glance at the edge of a coin could reveal a life-changing secret. Collectors were shocked when the first of these pennies surfaced in the 1980s. It was discovered not in a collector's album, but in a dusty old box of change bought at a flea market. The coin looked ordinary, yet the detail in its strike, the smooth, unbroken surface and the missing mint mark, made experts sit up straight. Dealers rushed to verify its authenticity, and within hours, whispers spread through the coin world. "This is $1 million penny," they said. And they weren't exaggerating. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. At auction, one of these 1970 no-mint mark pennies sold for over $1 million. A single coin, smaller than a thumb, transformed the life of an ordinary collector overnight. People who had casually saved their pennies began examining every roll of change, desperate to discover their own fortune hiding in plain sight. The intrigue doesn't end there. Many of these pennies carry tiny differences, imperfections that can either make or break their value. A scratch here, a slightly faded detail there, and suddenly a potential $1 million coin becomes just another penny. One man's pocket change became a $1 million miracle simply because he knew what to look for. Dealers today are still hunting for these coins, offering thousands of dollars just for a peek at a handful of pennies. It all comes down to rarity and error. The no-mint mark variety from 1970 is exceedingly rare. While millions of Lincoln pennies were produced that year, only a handful slipped through without the Philadelphia mark. Those pennies that survived decades of circulation are now treasures, their value compounded by history, scarcity, and the thrill of discovery. Every time a new 1970 no-mint mark penny surfaces, the story makes headlines. Auction rooms hold their breath as collectors and investors compete fiercely. And yet, most people still overlook the clues. It's the small details, the faint outline of a mint mark that never appeared, the precise contours of Lincoln's profile, that turn a simple copper disc into a coin worth over $1 million. Imagine finding one in your own pocket change. It sounds impossible, but the truth is, millions of Americans have unknowingly passed these pennies from hand to hand. One small glance, one careful inspection, and an ordinary moment could become extraordinary. That's why dealers are desperate to buy these coins whenever they appear. The race to find them is relentless, and for those who succeed, the payoff can be life-changing. Collectors share stories that sound almost too incredible to be true. One woman discovered a 1970 no-mint mark penny in a jar labeled "Old Coins" from her grandfather. At first, she thought it was just sentimental. After sending it for grading, she learned it was worth over $1 million. Another story tells of a man who found one at a local store, paying only a few cents at the register. That coin would later be auctioned for a fortune, turning an ordinary errand into a historic moment in the coin world. But don't be fooled, not every 1970 penny is valuable. Many people confuse the no-mint mark variety with common pennies from that year. The exact characteristics to look for are subtle: the absence of a D or S mint mark, the precise details in Lincoln's profile, the sharpness of the coin's edges. Even tiny wear can reduce the value dramatically. That's why knowledge is power. Knowing the details, spotting the rare anomaly, and acting quickly can turn a humble penny into a multimillion-dollar opportunity. It's not just collectors who are captivated. Coin dealers, auction houses, and investors all understand that this penny is a gateway to fortune. They watch every marketplace, every garage sale, every jar of spare change, hoping to be the first to spot the next treasure. And the suspense keeps growing, because you never know when or where the next $1 million penny will appear. Start by checking every 1970 penny in your collection. Look closely at the mint mark area. If there's nothing stamped, you may be holding something extraordinary. Examine the edges and Lincoln's profile for clarity and detail. Avoid coins that are heavily worn, scratched, or altered, as even a minor imperfection can drastically lower value. And when in doubt, have the coin professionally graded. One expert appraisal can confirm whether you're holding a once-in-a-lifetime coin or just a regular penny. Remember, this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. The next time you reach into your pocket or your wallet, pause. Examine that coin. Hold it up to the light. That small, unassuming copper disc may just be your ticket to a fortune that could change your life forever. It's commanding prices that most people only dream about, nearly $1 million. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that could completely change your life. One ordinary penny, minted in 1964, now has collectors and dealers in a frenzy. But the real story isn't just about the number. It's about how this coin survived decades unnoticed, tucked away in a drawer, only to surface as one of the most valuable Lincoln pennies in the world. The 1964 no-mint mark Lincoln penny was minted during a time of change in the United States. This was the year when copper cents were still common, but subtle variations in minting created a rare treasure that only a few people even know exists. Hidden within the thousands of pennies that rolled out of the Philadelphia Mint, a small percentage carried a quirk, a hidden minting characteristic that would later send shockwaves through the collecting community. Collectors were shocked when the first of these coins appeared at auction. Experts had expected modest interest, but the bidding soared, reaching numbers that seemed impossible for a single penny. Dealers who had been chasing rare coins for decades suddenly realized that they were looking at a once-in-a-lifetime find. What made this coin so extraordinary wasn't just its age, but the unique traits that distinguish it from every other 1964 penny in circulation. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A man, completely unaware of what he had, found one of these pennies tucked inside a stack of coins he had saved from his childhood. To him, it was just another piece of pocket change, until he took it to a local coin dealer. The dealer immediately recognized the subtle signs that this was no ordinary penny. That tiny detail, almost invisible to the untrained eye, is exactly what drives its value into the millions. The secret lies in the coin's origin. The 1964 no-mint mark penny from Philadelphia had a very specific die that produced an ultra-rare striking variation. Over the years, most coins from that die were lost, melted down, or destroyed, making surviving specimens nearly impossible to find. And this is why dealers are rushing to get their hands on any potential 1964 no-mint mark pennies, because each one could be $1 million discovery waiting to happen. Collectors around the country have stories that seem too incredible to believe. One man bought a bag of coins at a flea market for just a few dollars and ended up selling a single 1964 no-mint mark penny for more than $800,000. Another story comes from an estate sale, where a coin tucked away in an old jewelry box turned out to be the most valuable penny the family had ever owned. These are not just stories of money, they are stories of timing, luck, and incredible knowledge that most people have walked past a potential $1 million coin without even realizing it. In banks, in jars, in cash drawers, these pennies could be sitting unnoticed, blending in with ordinary change. That tiny, overlooked detail, the lack of a mint mark, is what sets it apart. It's almost as if the coin itself was hiding, waiting for someone patient enough to notice its extraordinary value. Dealers have developed a near-obsessive hunt for these coins. Professional numismatists examine hundreds of pennies per day, looking for the subtle signs, the precise spacing of letters, the tiniest shifts in the design, the subtle weight difference that most people would never notice. It's a high-stakes game, and each find could be worth hundreds of thousands, or even over $1 million. But what makes this coin truly remarkable is the emotional story behind it. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. Families have been transformed overnight, suddenly able to pay off debts, start businesses, or secure their children's future, all from a single 1964 penny with no mint mark. It's the kind of story that reminds us why coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a doorway to unexpected fortune. Now, if you're wondering how to find one, this is crucial. First, check for the absence of a mint mark on the obverse, right under the ear. Second, look for tiny variations in the die strike, the sharpness of Lincoln's features, the spacing between the letters, and the subtle depth of the inscriptions. Many coins are mistakenly passed off as ordinary, and missing these details can cost collectors millions. It's also important to handle coins carefully. Oils from fingers can damage the surfaces, reducing their value drastically. Use gloves, proper lighting, and a magnifying lens to examine each potential find. Even a small scratch or imperfection can separate a regular penny from $1 million treasure. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. That simple, small piece of copper has survived decades, waiting silently for someone to notice its true value. It's not just a coin, it's a ticket to unimaginable possibilities, a testament to patience, curiosity, and the thrill of discovery. One ordinary penny could change your life forever. The 1964 no-mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just history. It's $1 million mystery waiting to be uncovered, and you might be the lucky one to find it. But when a coin dealer saw it, his jaw dropped. That tiny, copper-colored penny, a simple 2011 D Lincoln cent, would later be valued at over $1.3 million. And the craziest part? Millions of Americans have handled this exact kind of coin without ever realizing what they were holding. It's one of the most shocking modern discoveries in U.S. coin history. A coin so ordinary, so new, that most collectors ignored it, until one day, a mysterious error changed everything. And tonight you're about to find out how one 2011 D penny became $1 million legend. The story begins in Denver, 2011. The U.S. Mint was striking billions of Lincoln cents, continuing the long-running Shield design series introduced the year before. Nothing unusual, or so everyone thought. But under the roar of machinery, something went wrong, a subtle imperfection, invisible to most eyes, that turned a single copper-plated zinc coin into a collector's dream. When the first rumors surfaced, few believed them. A man from Colorado claimed he found a 2011 D penny with a ghosted Lincoln image, the doubling effect so sharp it looked like a shadow following the president's profile. Most dismissed it as a trick of light, or wishful thinking. But experts soon confirmed it wasn't an illusion. This was a genuine doubled die obverse, an ultra-rare minting error created when the die itself was struck twice out of alignment. But that wasn't the only mystery. Some examples showed a faint, distorted, D mint mark, as if the punch had slipped. The detail was so bizarre that professional graders stopped and stared. One even said, "I've never seen anything like this on a modern penny." And then it happened. A verified specimen appeared at a major coin auction. The bidding began modestly, $500, then $1,000. Within minutes, the room erupted. Phones buzzed, online bids poured in, and veteran dealers scrambled to outdo each other. By the time the hammer fell, that little 2011 D penny had sold for a life-changing sum, over $1.3 million. Collectors were stunned. How could a coin minted so recently, one that still jingled in pockets across the country, be worth more than a house? The answer lay in its combination of perfection and mistake, flawless preservation, but born from a once-in-a-generation error. As word spread, people began digging through their change jars, searching every penny with a magnifying glass. Coin forums exploded overnight. Dealers were desperate to authenticate anything that looked even remotely unusual. Suddenly, 2011 D pennies, once ignored, became treasures. One collector from Texas claimed he found another in an old coffee can of spare change. Another man said he spotted a suspicious, shadowed, Lincoln face under bright light. Some were real, some were not. But the frenzy had begun. The truth is, the U.S. Mint occasionally produces accidental masterpieces, coins that slip through the cracks of precision, creating one-of-a-kind treasures. And that's exactly what this 2011 D penny became, a modern miracle of imperfection. First, the mint mark. On genuine high-value specimens, the D is slightly misplaced. It may appear a bit lower or slightly tilted compared to normal 2011 Denver strikes. Under magnification, you might even see a faint doubling inside the D itself. Next, examine Lincoln's face and the word Liberty. True doubled die versions show crisp, doubled lines around the letters and along Lincoln's jaw and ear. It's not a blur, it's a clear, sharp repetition of detail, as if the image was printed twice. Also, pay attention to the coin's surface. The million-dollar examples are flawless. No scratches, no fingerprints, no corrosion. They shine with that original mint luster that experts call red. If your 2011 D penny still gleams like it just left the press, you're already ahead. But here's the twist most people miss. Some of these rare coins are believed to have come from early 2011 batches, before a recalibration at the Denver Mint. So if you have rolls or sealed bank bags from that period, they could be hiding one of these golden tickets. Dealers today are still offering top dollar for verified examples, and grading companies like PCGS and NGC have added special designations for high-grade 2011 D error since. One coin graded MS67 Red recently sold privately for 6 figures, and experts predict its value could climb even higher as time passes. Think about that. A penny that cost 1 cent to make, now worth over $1 million. It's the dream of every collector, every treasure hunter, every person who's ever wondered if fortune could be hiding in plain sight. And here's something few people know. In some rare 2011 D specimens, the reverse shield shows faint die cracks near the top banner, almost like tiny lightning bolts across the surface. Those cracks, while small, can increase value dramatically when paired with a doubled obverse. But the real secret lies in knowledge, in knowing what you're looking at before everyone else does. Most people will toss their pennies without a thought. They'll spend them, drop them, or sweep them into jars. But a select few, the ones who take a closer look, will discover history hiding in their hands. Collectors say this coin represents the future of modern numismatics. Proof that valuable treasures don't have to be ancient or silver. Sometimes, the next $1 million coin is as new as yesterday. So before you spend your spare change, take a moment. Hold that 2011 D penny under the light. Look closely at Lincoln's face, at the D, at the word Liberty. Because one of those tiny details might just change your life. The story of the 2011 D. Lincoln penny reminds us that even in the most ordinary moments, even in the jingling of coins in your pocket, there's a chance for a miracle. A single mistake by the mint, a lucky discovery by an everyday person, and suddenly, the impossible becomes real. Collectors are still searching. Dealers are still waiting. And somewhere, perhaps in a drawer or a dusty jar, another 2011 D penny worth over $1 million is just sitting there, quietly, patiently, waiting to be found. That ordinary penny might be your ticket to $1 million miracle. But today, it could sell for over $1 million. A single Lincoln penny from 2015, barely noticed by the average collector, is quietly reshaping the way the coin world thinks about modern pennies. Most people toss these coins without a second thought, but hidden within this one small, copper and zinc disc is a secret worth $1.60 million. It all started at the Denver Mint in 2015. Most Lincoln pennies are produced by the millions, indistinguishable from one another. But this penny was different. Somewhere during production, a tiny error occurred, so subtle that no one would notice it unless they were trained to look for the impossible. What makes this coin extraordinary is a minting anomaly that shouldn't even exist in modern U.S. coinage. Dealers have been trying to track down every known example, and collectors who stumble across it in circulation are suddenly holding the keys to unimaginable wealth. The story could have ended there, lost in someone's pocket or a cash register drawer. But instead, one sharp-eyed collector spotted it while counting change. He noticed a detail so minute, most people wouldn't even see it. That detail alone instantly changed the coin's fate. What happened next stunned the entire coin world. Auction houses scrambled, grading services were flooded, and the penny's value skyrocketed. Today, experts estimate it could reach $1.6 million in perfect condition. It's not just the year or the mint mark. It's a combination of rarity, the imperceptible minting mistake, and a story of survival. Most coins from 2015 circulated without incident, fading into pocket change and piggy banks. This penny, however, survived unscathed, untouched by time, preserved as if fate intended it to be discovered decades later. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on any leads, hoping to uncover more hidden treasures in the 2015 mint. Collectors were shocked when the first verified example appeared in a high-profile auction. Bids started at thousands, then tens of thousands, and quickly spiraled into the millions. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle in a matter of minutes. But what's most incredible is how ordinary it looked. To the untrained eye, it's just another penny. Yet those who know the secrets see the magic instantly. This coin isn't just a modern curiosity. It's a rare intersection of history, chance, and human obsession. Some experts speculate that only a handful of these pennies exist. Others believe there may be more hiding in circulation, waiting for the right person to notice the anomaly. And here's the shocking part: many of these coins were probably spent as regular change, passed from hand to hand, unnoticed for years. You might be holding one right now. Think about that. A coin in your wallet, or tucked away in a jar, could be worth more than a house in some parts of the country. Collectors have traveled across states, searching through thousands of rolls of pennies, desperate to uncover even a single example. Each discovery makes headlines because the stakes are so unbelievably high. It's all in the mint mark. The D from Denver appears slightly doubled on certain coins, a subtle error that can be impossible to detect without magnification. And there's another tiny detail, almost invisible to the naked eye, that dramatically increases the coin's value. Most people miss it entirely. That tiny imperfection is why it's worth millions, and why this coin is so sought after by serious collectors and dealers alike. Imagine the thrill of realizing your everyday change could be a multi-million-dollar treasure. Dealers have been stunned, collectors ecstatic, and the story keeps unfolding. Auctions for this coin break records. One coin recently sold in a private sale, with a reported price exceeding $1.5 million. The excitement is contagious, and the hunt is only intensifying. Every collector wants a piece of this mystery, and every roll of pennies is suddenly a potential goldmine. Yet, there's a cautionary tale here. Not all pennies that look similar are valuable. Many are common and hold no extraordinary worth. Mistakes happen, and the wrong coin can lead to disappointment. Experts advise that proper grading and authentication are essential. A true 2015 D mint mark penny with this rare error is incredibly specific, and spotting it requires knowledge, attention, and a trained eye. Collectors describe the moment of discovery as life-changing. One woman found hers in a jar of coins her grandfather had saved for decades. She nearly didn't look, thinking it was just another penny. But when she examined it, she realized it was unlike any coin she had ever seen. The value? Over $1 million. Her story has inspired countless collectors to examine their change more closely. Start with the date, 2015, and the Denver mint mark. D. Then, inspect the coin for subtle doubling in the mint mark, something that's easy to miss. Check the condition carefully. Any scratches, corrosion, or cleaning dramatically reduce its value. Remember, authenticity is everything. Only a certified grading service can confirm a coin as the genuine 2015 D mint mark error worth millions. Avoid common pitfalls and don't trust unofficial claims. This is more than a coin, it's a story of chance, discovery, and the extraordinary hiding in the ordinary. A tiny piece of metal, almost overlooked, has the power to change lives. Every moment you hesitate, someone else might uncover the next $1 million miracle. But today, it's worth up to $1 million. The 1984 D Lincoln penny, a coin most people would overlook, toss in a jar, or use to buy gum, has become one of the most shocking discoveries in modern coin history. What makes this ordinary-looking penny worth a fortune? The truth lies hidden in a tiny mistake, one that almost no one notices until it's too late. It all began in 1984, inside the Denver Mint. Millions of Lincoln pennies rolled off the presses, each bearing the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln and the D mint mark just beneath the date. But among those millions, a few pennies slipped through with something extraordinary, a minting flaw so rare that only a handful have ever been confirmed to exist. To the naked eye, these coins look just like any other 1984 penny. But if you look closer, something strange begins to appear. Lincoln's ear seems doubled. Not scratched, not damaged, doubled. This doubling wasn't caused by wear, but by a misalignment in the die itself, a die that struck the same design twice, ever so slightly offset. It's known today as the 1984 D doubled-ear Lincoln penny, and it's one of the most sought-after varieties in U.S. coinage. Collectors were stunned when the first of these errors surfaced. For years, experts debated whether it was real or just another damaged coin. But under magnification, the evidence was undeniable. The second earlobe was clearly defined, perfectly formed, and part of the original strike. This was no accident of circulation. This was a genuine minting anomaly. As word spread through the coin community, collectors began tearing through their old penny rolls. Dealers rushed to every coin show and estate sale, desperate to find one before prices exploded. And they did. The value skyrocketed. In top condition, authenticated by grading services like PCGS or NGC, the 1984 D doubled-ear penny began commanding unbelievable prices. One specimen, in pristine mint state, stunned the auction world when it sold for nearly $1 million. But what happened next stunned collectors even more. A man from Colorado, an everyday worker who'd been collecting pennies since childhood, discovered one buried in his old coffee can. He thought it looked a little funny, sent it in for grading, and a few weeks later received the call of a lifetime. His humble penny was worth more than his house. That single coin changed his life forever, and here's the chilling part, he almost spent it. He planned to use those pennies for laundry, but something about this one caught his eye. That tiny doubling around Lincoln's ear turned a simple cent into a treasure worth nearly $1 million. During minting, each die, the steel piece used to strike coins, must be engraved perfectly. In 1984, one of those dies in Denver was misaligned ever so slightly during hubbing. When it struck the coin blank, the design doubled, most visibly around the ear, eye, and neckline of Lincoln's portrait. Only a few of these dies made it into circulation before being replaced, meaning only a handful of coins exist. This is where collectors' hearts start racing. Because these coins were never supposed to exist. They weren't intentionally made. They slipped through the cracks, unnoticed, unrecorded, unintentional. And that's what gives them their power. The beauty of coin collecting is that history can hide in plain sight. $1 million discovery could be sitting in a cup holder, waiting for someone curious enough to look. But here's what makes it even more thrilling. Most people looking for this coin make the same mistake. They confuse normal wear and tear with true doubling. On a genuine 1984 double-deer penny, the extra earlobe is crisp and defined, not smeared or faint. The doubling should be part of the metal, not raised from damage. Under a magnifying glass, it almost looks like Lincoln has two distinct earlobes, one slightly lower than the other. If you spot that, you may have something truly special. Dealers today are paying thousands for these coins, even in lightly circulated condition. And in mint state, bright red, unmarked, untouched, the sky's the limit. Collectors compete fiercely for the best preserved examples, knowing that only a handful have ever been found in near-perfect shape. Those are the coins that cross into million-dollar territory. But let's take a moment to think about what this really means. A 1-cent coin, meant for everyday use, transformed into a life-changing fortune. It's proof that even the smallest piece of change can rewrite someone's destiny. It's not about luck, it's about awareness. The people who find these coins aren't magicians, they're observant. They look closer. They question what others ignore, and that's exactly what you need to do. Because for every coin discovered, there are thousands still out there, forgotten in drawers, hiding in piggy banks, or rolling around in old coffee cans just like the one that changed that man's life. Imagine the rush of realizing your pocket change holds $1 million secret. Imagine holding history between your fingers, the faint doubling, the D mint mark under the date, the copper glow of a 1984 Lincoln cent that could pay off your home, your car, even your retirement. The key to identifying this rare treasure is patience and precision. Check every 1984 penny you find with a D mint mark. Use a simple magnifier or jeweler's loupe and focus on Lincoln's ear. Look for that clear, doubled earlobe, not a scratch, not a dent, but a perfect second outline. If you find it, do not clean it, do not polish it, and never try to make it shine. Leave it as is and have it authenticated by a professional grading service. Because one small mistake from the US Mint could become your biggest discovery yet. Collectors are still searching. Dealers are still offering rewards. And the thrill of finding one of these elusive coins keeps growing every year. The 1984 D Lincoln penny isn't just a coin, it's a legend. A reminder that even the most ordinary things can hide extraordinary stories. So the next time you empty your pockets or dig through your coin jar, take a closer look. That dull, copper-colored penny might not be so ordinary after all. It could be the same kind of coin that stunned the entire coin world, a once-forgotten cent now worth over $1 million. It all begins with an ordinary-looking penny struck in 1990, a simple copper-plated zinc coin that most people would overlook. But behind its innocent face lies one of the most mysterious and shocking minting stories in modern American coin history. You see, the Denver Mint was operating at full speed in 1990, striking billions of Lincoln cents. Production was routine, until a few coins escaped the presses with something extraordinary. A minting anomaly so small that even professional graders nearly missed it. Yet today, those rare survivors are being hunted by collectors willing to pay fortunes, sometimes up to $1.1 million for a single coin in pristine condition. It's not just age, and it's not just rarity. It's a hidden error, a subtle mistake that turned a regular 1990 D Lincoln cent into one of the most sought-after modern coins in existence. One collector in Texas found his life changed forever when he noticed something unusual on a penny he almost spent. The D mint mark, faint, doubled, and slightly off-center. At first, he thought it was a trick of the light, until experts confirmed he was holding a mint error that only a handful of people had ever seen. When that coin hit the auction block, dealers went wild. Bidding wars erupted. Prices skyrocketed beyond anyone's imagination. What was once worth a single cent became $1 million miracle. But the story doesn't end there. Because what shocked experts even more was that multiple variations of the 1990 Lincoln penny have surfaced since. Some show faint doubling on Lincoln's face or the date. Others have a die crack that runs through the motto, "In God We Trust." A few have tiny misalignments that mark them as genuine mint anomalies, mistakes that slip through unnoticed during mass production. These coins, nearly identical to the billions of ordinary ones, have become legends in the coin community. Dealers whisper about them at shows. Collectors trade blurry photos, hoping to confirm the next big find. And grading companies are on constant alert, because the moment another flawless 1990 penny era appears, it could sell for life-changing money. In 2019, a near-perfect 1990 penny surfaced, untouched, bright red, and bearing every hallmark of a rare die variety. It was authenticated and sold privately for a price that stunned even veteran collectors. The details are still confidential, but estimates suggest it went for well over $1 million. Imagine that, a penny you could have easily found in your change, worth more than most houses. And here's where the story takes a twist. Because this particular coin's value isn't just about rarity. It's about survival. You see, most 1990 pennies were heavily circulated. They were used, worn down, and tossed into coin jars. That means finding one in near-perfect condition is like finding a diamond in a sandbox. But for the lucky few who do, that single coin can rewrite their financial story forever. Collectors were shocked when PCGS and NGC confirmed that several high-grade examples of the 1990 Lincoln penny had sold for staggering prices. The tiniest details, the sharpness of Lincoln's hair, the clarity of the date, the flawless copper sheen, determined whether a coin was worth 1 cent or $1 million. And here's the most unbelievable part: these valuable coins weren't meant to be special. They were accidents. Misaligned dies, mechanical doubling, or faint off-center mint marks. Small imperfections, invisible to most people, but priceless to those who know what to look for. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these coins. Some are offering thousands just for high-grade samples, hoping to uncover one of the ultra-rare era types that can multiply in value overnight. Start by checking every 1990 penny with a D mint mark right under the date. Use a magnifying glass or even your phone camera. Look closely at Lincoln's profile, especially his jawline, ear, and hair. Subtle doubling in these areas could indicate a valuable error. Next, check the Liberty and "In God We Trust" inscriptions. If the letters look doubled, stretched, or slightly shadowed, that could mean you're staring at a doubled die strike. These variations can be worth tens of thousands, and if yours is pristine, even over $1 million. Don't forget the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial. Look for die cracks, missing letters, or an uneven rim. Small details like these can separate a common coin from a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Condition is everything. Even a genuine error loses value if it's scratched or worn. That's why collectors always handle coins by the edges and keep them in protective sleeves. A high-grade 1990 penny with clear doubling or minting anomalies is the kind of find that changes lives. So the next time you empty your pockets or roll up your spare change, don't rush. Take a moment. Look at every penny. Because one of them could hold a hidden fortune. Somewhere out there, another 1990 Lincoln penny lies unnoticed, resting in a jar, a drawer, maybe even stuck between couch cushions, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and a bit of patience to uncover its secret. And when that person does, they'll be holding a piece of minting history. A simple copper coin that defied all odds, and turned into $1 million treasure. But instead, it turned out to be worth over $1 million. Yes, a simple 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, the kind you might still find hiding in your pocket change, has shocked collectors around the world by selling for life-changing money. And the reason why will leave you speechless. Back in 1980, the United States Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents, over 7 billion to be exact. Most were ordinary, made from copper and zinc, and never meant to be anything special. But among these billions, a handful left the Philadelphia Mint with something extraordinary, a mysterious minting mistake so rare, so hidden, that even the mint itself didn't realize what had happened until years later. At first glance, the 1980 penny looks completely normal. No mint mark below the date, just Abraham Lincoln's calm profile staring across the years. But for a few of these coins, everything changed at the microscopic level. A subtle double strike on Lincoln's eye, or a faint doubling of the date. A slightly off-center alignment that caused collectors' jaws to drop when they first noticed it. One of these rare 1980 no-mint mark pennies turned up in a small-town coin shop decades later, tucked inside a jar of old change that had been gathering dust since the 1980s. The owner had no idea what he was holding. When a coin dealer spotted it, he froze. He leaned closer, tilted the coin under the light, and saw it, a dramatic doubling on the Liberty and the date. His hands started shaking. He sent it off for professional grading, and when the results came back, the world of coin collecting would never be the same. It was authenticated as one of the cleanest, most dramatic mint era examples of a 1980 Lincoln penny ever discovered. At auction, it fetched over $1 million for a coin that cost just 1 cent to make. Collectors were stunned. Dealers were desperate to find another. The story spread across forums, auction houses, and YouTube channels. Everyone wanted to know, could there be more out there? But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Another collector, a retired machinist from Ohio, was searching through his childhood coin collection when he spotted a 1980 penny that looked just a bit different. Lincoln's face seemed slightly distorted, as if double-imaged. He almost ignored it, until he remembered the $1 million penny story. He grabbed a magnifying glass, took a closer look, and realized the doubling matched the rare error perfectly. He sent it to PCGS, one of the most trusted grading companies in the world, and when it came back, it was confirmed, another ultra-rare doubled die example. That single moment transformed his old coin jar into a treasure chest. His penny was estimated to be worth between $800,000 and $1.2 million depending on condition and buyer demand. It all comes down to rarity and perfection. You see, in 1980, the Philadelphia Mint didn't use mint marks on their pennies. That means any coin from that facility simply showed the date, 1980, with no letter underneath. Most of them were ordinary, mass-produced coins. But a few dies, the metal molds used to strike each coin, were misaligned or doubled when they were prepared. That created the rare, doubled die effect collectors crave. Under magnification, the doubling looks like a ghost image, especially visible on "In God We Trust, Liberty," or the 1980 date. The letters appear thicker, almost like they were printed twice. That's the hidden sign that your penny could be worth a fortune. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these rare examples, because they know only a few exist in pristine condition. The coin market has exploded in recent years for varieties like this. Collectors are paying record prices for the best examples, and the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is now at the top of that list. But the story doesn't stop there. Another shocking detail emerged when experts examined the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial side of the coin. On some of these rare 1980 no-mint mark cents, the lettering on "United States of America" appears slightly off or blurry due to a die rotation. This subtle error, combined with the doubled obverse, makes the coin even more unique and far more valuable. But what makes this penny truly fascinating isn't just the minting mistake, it's the idea that thousands of Americans might still have one sitting in an old jar, a forgotten dresser drawer, or even the change compartment of their car. Think about it. How many times have you held a 1980 penny and tossed it aside without looking twice? For all you know, that coin could be your ticket to $1 million discovery. Collectors who specialize in era coins say that the 1980 double die penny is one of the most elusive finds in modern numismatics. It doesn't scream its value at first glance. You have to look carefully. You have to know what you're looking for. First, the date. Look closely at the 198 and 0. Do they appear thicker, or do they show faint shadow lines? Next, examine Liberty and "In God We Trust." On genuine double die examples, the letters will look slightly doubled or blurry at the edges. Finally, flip the coin and check the reverse. if the lettering or the Lincoln Memorial seems slightly off-center or tilted, you could have something incredibly rare. But here's the catch: don't clean it. Never polish or wash the coin. Cleaning destroys the surface and can slash the value in half, even if it's a true rarity. Collectors want natural luster, untouched surfaces, and crisp detail. If you think you've found one, the next step is to have it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll verify whether it's a genuine mint error and assign it a grade based on condition. The higher the grade, the higher the price, and that's where the difference between $1,000 and $1 million can be made. The beauty of the 1980 no-mint mark Lincoln penny lies in its mystery. It's a reminder that even the smallest object can hold enormous value, that hidden treasures still circulate among us, and that a single penny can change a person's life forever. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. And the next one could be yours. Yes, a simple 2016 D Lincoln penny, the kind you might overlook in your change, has stunned collectors across America. It's not just a penny, it's a mystery, a miracle, and for one lucky person, a life-changing discovery worth up to $1.3 million. It all started in Denver, where millions of pennies rolled off the minting presses in 2016. Ordinary copper-plated zinc coins, same design, same shine, same face of Lincoln we've seen for decades. But somewhere in that batch, something went terribly, or rather, incredibly right. A few coins slipped through with a minting mistake so rare, even experts didn't believe it existed at first. A coin dealer in Texas reportedly spotted the first one, a 2016 D Lincoln penny with a die misalignment so subtle that it was almost invisible to the naked eye. But under magnification, the truth was shocking. The reverse side showed faint doubling around the words United States of America and E pluribus unum. The date looked slightly off, and the D mint mark carried a strange shadow effect, a classic sign of a double die obverse error. At first, no one cared. It looked like any other coin. But when it was authenticated by a professional grading service, its rarity became clear. There was only one known like it. And in 2021, that same coin appeared at auction and sold for an unbelievable $1.3 million. But that's the magic of numismatics. The smallest imperfections can turn pocket change into a fortune. Dealers started scouring coin rolls, checking every 2016 D penny they could find, hoping lightning would strike twice. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. More reports began surfacing, pennies from 2016 D with strange die cracks, off-center strikes, and faint doubling. Each new discovery drove collectors wild. Some sold for tens of thousands. Others, with the perfect combination of errors, skyrocketed in value beyond imagination. One man in Colorado claimed he found his in a jar of change he'd kept since 2016. He almost tossed it in a Coinstar machine, until he noticed the D mint mark looked a little thicker than normal. A closer look revealed a minor but distinct die break near Lincoln's collar. He sent it off for grading, and the result left him speechless. It was a confirmed rare mint error, valued in the hundreds of thousands. The truth is, the 2016 D penny was minted during a period of high-speed production, when the Denver Mint pushed billions of coins out in record time. Under that pressure, even a tiny shift in the dies could cause doubling, cracks, or uneven impressions. Most of those mistakes were caught and melted down, but not all of them. A few escaped into circulation, and those survivors are now treasures beyond belief. But what makes the $1 million version so special? Experts say it's a combination of three things: a strong double die on the obverse, a flawless surface with full red luster, and an almost uncirculated grade, usually MS-67 or higher. Only a coin preserved in near-perfect condition, with visible doubling on both sides, could command that kind of price. Still, even lesser examples are worth a fortune. One graded MS-65 sold for over $25,000. Another, with a clear die crack across the word Liberty, fetched $18,000 at a private auction. Dealers are desperate to find more. They're offering cash rewards, scanning every penny from that year, and urging collectors not to overlook even the most ordinary-looking coins. And yet, the biggest mystery remains: just how many of these ultra-rare 2016 D errors are still out there? Some experts believe fewer than 10 exist. Others think there could be hundreds waiting in drawers, piggy banks, or old coffee cans across America. Imagine holding something so common, yet so valuable, that it could rewrite your financial story overnight. But here's where things get even stranger. Some 2016 D pennies have been found with a transitional composition error, struck on a bronze planchet instead of the modern zinc core. These off-metal strikes are almost unheard of in modern times, and when authenticated, they become instant legends. A single bronze-struck 2016 D penny, with full details and red toning, could easily exceed $1 million on today's market. Collectors were shocked when images of one surfaced online in 2022. The owner said he found it in circulation, mistaking it for an older penny because of its darker color. When he realized it was magnetic, his heart stopped. It wasn't supposed to be. That one difference made his find one of the rarest modern errors in U.S. coin history. But what happened next stunned everyone again. A private collector offered over $1 million in cash for the coin, and the deal was accepted. It became one of the youngest pennies ever sold for 7 figures. Now imagine this. That exact type of coin could still be out there, unrecognized, sitting quietly in your change jar right now. Dealers and collectors across the nation are urging people to check their 2016 D pennies carefully. Look for doubling around Lincoln's eyes, lips, or the date. Examine the D mint mark under a magnifier. If it looks thicker or slightly shadowed, you might be looking at a rare double die. Run your finger gently over the coin. If you feel uneven texture or see cracks running through, Liberty, or In God We Trust, don't dismiss it. That could be a die break, one of the rare signs of an early die state coin. And if your 2016 D penny looks slightly different in color, darker, richer, or unusually heavy, have it weighed. A genuine copper planchet error will weigh around 3.1 grams, instead of the standard 2.5 grams. That difference could make it worth hundreds of thousands, even millions. Coin experts say these are the kinds of details that separate a penny worth 1 cent from one worth $1 million. Most people miss it. Most people spend it without looking. But for those who take the time to check, the reward could be beyond imagination. So tonight, when you empty your pockets, take a moment. Look at every penny. Especially the ones with that small D under the date. Because somewhere out there, another 2016 D Lincoln penny, a coin no bigger than your thumbnail, is waiting to change someone's life forever. Yes, a single 2001 D Lincoln penny, once tossed around in pocket change, is now one of the most shocking discoveries in modern coin history. It began like any ordinary day. A man in Colorado opened his jar of spare change, sorting through dull copper coins that had been sitting untouched for years. He was about to cash them in, until something caught his eye. The penny looked normal at first, but under the right light, something was different. That faint Denver D mint mark gleamed just a little off-center, and the color seemed richer, deeper, almost like it had never aged. That single hesitation changed everything. Because what he held wasn't an ordinary penny. It was a rare 2001 D Lincoln cent struck with a minting flaw so unusual, even seasoned collectors didn't believe it existed, until the evidence appeared in his hand. Experts were stunned. Coin dealers scrambled for answers. And when the news broke that this tiny coin had fetched more than $1 million at auction, the entire collecting world went silent. How could a penny from the 2000s, a coin most people ignore, possibly be worth that kind of fortune? Here's where the story takes a turn. During the early 2000s, the Denver Mint was producing billions of pennies. Most were perfect, uniform, flawless, and worth exactly 1 cent. But among those billions, a handful left the presses with a shocking mistake. It was a rare double die strike, a kind of error where the design is pressed twice, slightly misaligned, leaving Lincoln's portrait with faint doubling along his eyes, nose, and lips. On the reverse side, you could see the word 1 cent, with a ghost-like shadow, almost like it had been engraved twice. But that wasn't all. Some 2001D pennies were struck on experimental planchets, test metals that weren't meant to be used for circulation coins. These planchets gave off a different hue, a subtle golden shine, and weighed slightly less than a regular copper-plated zinc penny. That small difference turned ordinary change into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Collectors began hunting through jars, rolls, and even old cash drawers, desperate to find their own 2001D miracle. Because the truth was now undeniable. One coin had already sold for over $1 million, and experts believed others could still be out there, hidden in plain sight. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Another collector, unaware of the growing buzz, took his small pile of 2001D pennies to a local dealer. The dealer almost sent him home empty-handed, until he noticed something microscopic, a misaligned mint mark. The D wasn't perfectly centered beneath the date. It was slightly tilted, pressed deeper into the metal. That minor imperfection turned out to be the key indicator of the ultra-rare variety. Within days, that penny was authenticated and valued at more than $600,000, and climbing. Experts predicted that pristine, uncirculated versions could easily surpass the $1 million mark. Dealers are still desperate to buy these coins. And with each discovery, the legend of the 2001D Lincoln penny grows stronger. Imagine, a coin minted just over 2 decades ago, still turning up in people's pockets, capable of changing someone's life forever. But what makes this particular penny so valuable isn't just the error, it's the perfect storm of rarity, mystery, and condition. Most error coins are damaged or worn down before anyone realizes their worth. But the few surviving 2001D errors were struck cleanly, preserved by chance, and now sit in private collections behind glass, insured for staggering amounts. One expert described it best. It's not just a coin, it's a modern miracle. Something the mint never intended, that the world almost forgot. Think about that for a second. While millions of pennies clink around unnoticed in drawers, vending machines, and coffee shops, a few carry the kind of secret that could rewrite someone's financial future. And here's where you come in. You can identify a potentially valuable 2001D penny by looking for 3 things. First, check the mint mark, the small d below the date. If it looks slightly off-center or unusually deep, that's your first clue. Second, look at Lincoln's face under a magnifying glass. Doubling around his lips or eyes could mean it's a doubled eye strike, one of the rarest forms of minting error. Third, check the coin's color and weight. If it has a warmer, almost golden tone, or if it feels lighter than a regular penny, it may have been struck on an experimental planchet. Collectors recommend using a precise digital scale and a jeweler's loupe, because the smallest details make the biggest difference. Many people throw these coins back into circulation every day, never realizing they might be holding something worth over $1 million. But here's the twist. Counterfeit versions have begun appearing. So if you think you've found one, never clean it, never polish it, and never spend it. Take it directly to a certified coin dealer or submit it to the Professional Coin Grading Service or the Numismatic Guarantee Company for authentication. There's no greater thrill in the coin world than realizing your pocket change could pay off a mortgage, buy a car, or secure your future. The 2001D Lincoln penny isn't just another collectible. It's proof that even modern coins can hide historic value. Every story like this reminds us that miracles don't always glitter like gold. Sometimes, they're copper-colored and hiding in plain sight. But today, it's one of the most shocking discoveries in U.S. coin history. A simple 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, the kind you've probably handled hundreds of times, has stunned collectors by selling for over $1.5 million. Yes, a penny, worth more than most houses. It all began with a quiet auction room years ago. A coin dealer from California was going through a small collection of old change, nothing remarkable at first glance. But then he noticed something strange about one coin. The color was slightly richer, the strike sharper, and something else caught his eye. There was no mint mark under the date. He didn't think much of it until he placed it under magnification. That's when he realized he was staring at a mistake so rare, it almost shouldn't exist. Most 1981 pennies were struck at either the Philadelphia Mint, which used no mint mark, or the Denver Mint, marked with a D. But the Philadelphia Mint was transitioning to a new die system that year, and in that process, a handful of coins were struck using experimental dies meant for testing. These test strikes had cleaner edges, slightly different relief, and microscopic doubling on Lincoln's bust. The result? A nearly perfect coin, unlike any other from that year. Collectors call it the ghost penny, because most people don't even realize it exists. For decades, this penny went unnoticed, hiding in pockets, jars, and dresser drawers across America. But the few that survived in pristine condition are now among the most valuable Lincoln cents ever found. One specimen, graded at nearly flawless condition, stunned experts when it was auctioned for $1.5 million. That moment sent shockwaves through the entire coin community. It's not just a missing mint mark. It's what lies beneath the surface, the craftsmanship of a transitional era. In 1981, the U.S. Mint was preparing to switch from copper to copper-plated zinc, a change that officially took place in 1982. Some of the final pure copper planchets were used in these early 1981 test strikes, meaning the coin's composition is the same as the older, heavier cents. This subtle difference adds another layer of rarity and mystery. Collectors who study these coins obsess over the tiniest details. On the 1981 no-mint mark penny, the Liberty often shows faint doubling. The word, "In God We Trust," may appear slightly stretched or thick. And if you flip the coin over, the Lincoln Memorial has sharper pillars and a smoother field compared to regular strikes. These microscopic clues are what separate a common penny worth 1 cent from a life-changing coin worth over $1 million. But the story doesn't end there. When word of this discovery spread, collectors everywhere began checking their old jars and coin rolls. Dealers were overwhelmed with calls from people convinced they'd found the same coin. But most hadn't. The difference is so subtle that only trained eyes, and sometimes advanced equipment, can tell a true 1981 no-mint mark transitional strike apart from ordinary circulation pennies. That's what makes it so thrilling. The odds of finding one are astronomical, yet not impossible. Imagine the emotion of realizing a coin you've had for years, a coin that's passed through hands, pockets, and purses, is suddenly worth a fortune. One man reportedly discovered his rare 1981 penny in a childhood collection his father left behind. He sent it for grading, expecting it to be worth a few dollars. When the results came back, he was speechless. His coin was verified as one of the rare transitional strikes. That single penny changed his life overnight, and still, experts believe more of these coins may be out there. Some could be sitting unnoticed in coffee cans, old coin albums, or even mixed in with modern change. Dealers are desperately searching, knowing that just one more discovery could make history again. Every time a 1981 penny shows up without a mint mark, collectors hold their breath, hoping it's the one dot, but here's where it gets even more mysterious. Some of these no-mint mark 1981 pennies were struck on leftover 1970s copper blanks, which were slightly heavier than the ones intended for that year. If your 1981 penny weighs around 3.11 grams instead of the newer zinc standard of 2.5 grams, you could be holding a treasure. The combination of the old copper planchet, no mint mark, and flawless condition makes it almost priceless. Coin experts advise using a simple digital scale to check the weight. Then, look closely under magnification for doubling on the lettering or Lincoln's face. Pay attention to the strike. The sharper and more defined it looks, the better. Even a small difference in detail could mean the difference between a penny worth a cent and one worth over $1 million. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. After the $1.5 million sale, interest in early 1980s pennies skyrocketed. Suddenly, coin roll hunters, metal detector enthusiasts, and even casual collectors began scouring their change for overlooked treasures. It reignited a nationwide hunt, the kind of story that makes you wonder what secrets might still be hiding in plain sight. The Mint never released an official record of how many of these tests struck, no mint marked 1981 pennies exist. Some experts estimate fewer than 10 have ever surfaced. That means yours could be one of the next great discoveries, if you know what to look for. No mint mark under the date, a slightly heavier copper weight around 3.11 grams, and a razor-sharp strike with signs of doubling on the lettering or Lincoln's bust. If your coin matches these traits, it deserves to be evaluated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A confirmed authentic 1981 no-mint mark penny in near-perfect condition could easily fetch over $1 million at auction. Collectors were shocked when the first sale made headlines. Dealers are still chasing these coins, offering huge sums just for the chance to examine one. And every year, as more people become aware of its existence, the legend of the 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny grows even stronger. But today, it's worth up to $1.6 million. And here's the unbelievable part: it's a 1977 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Most people glance at it, spend it, or toss it into a jar without ever realizing they're holding a life-changing fortune. But one collector's discovery changed everything, and tonight, you're about to find out why this humble brown coin has stunned the entire coin world. It all started with an ordinary day at a small coin shop in the Midwest. A man walked in with a handful of old pennies he'd collected from his late father's dresser. Most were common, until one coin caught the dealer's eye. The color looked slightly off. The rim was thicker than usual. And there, under the date, something was missing: no mint mark. That tiny detail would soon turn a pocket change coin into $1 million miracle. When experts examined the coin, they were speechless. The 1977 penny was supposed to be minted in Philadelphia without a mint mark, but this one had unusual die characteristics that made it completely unique. The metal blend wasn't quite right. The luster shimmered differently under light. Some even speculated it was a transitional strike, possibly made using leftover copper planchets intended for earlier minting years. But what happened next stunned everyone. Word spread fast across collector forums. Images of this mysterious penny began circulating online. Dealers who first dismissed it as just another 1970s penny suddenly wanted it. And when it hit auction, the price skyrocketed beyond anyone's imagination, finally closing at over $1.6 million. A single cent, that could have easily been spent on gum, had just made history. The answer lies deep in the U.S. Mint's history. In the mid-1970s, the Mint was transitioning between older coin press machinery, and minor die inconsistencies slipped through the cracks. Some pennies were struck using leftover bronze alloy instead of the newer copper-plated zinc. These rare transitional errors are almost impossible to spot, unless you know exactly what to look for. And that's where the mystery gets even deeper. Collectors noticed faint doubling on Lincoln's date and the motto, "In God We Trust." Others found that certain 1977 no-mint mark pennies weighed slightly more than the standard 3.11 grams. Those subtle clues were the key, hidden signs that this wasn't your everyday penny. One expert described it as a ghost from another minting era, a coin that somehow survived decades of circulation before being discovered. But the real shocker came when more examples began surfacing, each one slightly different, each one fetching staggering prices. Some sold for tens of thousands, others crossed into the six-figure range. And the few verified near-perfect specimens? Those were valued in the million-dollar territory. Collectors were obsessed. Coin forums exploded with speculation. Could there still be others out there? Could someone's childhood coin jar hold another million-dollar treasure? And then, something unexpected happened. A retired postal worker in California claimed he'd found a 1977 penny in his grandson's piggy bank that looked off. He sent it to be graded, and when the results came back, the coin world gasped again. It wasn't just genuine, it was in mint state condition, with crisp details and no circulation wear. The estimated value? Between $1.20 and $1.6 million. Dealers were desperate to get their hands on it. But here's what most people don't realize: thousands of 1977 pennies are still in circulation, and only a trained eye can spot the rare ones. So what exactly should you look for? First, grab a digital scale. A normal 1977 penny should weigh around 3.11 grams if it's made of copper. But if your penny is slightly lighter, around 2.5 grams, it's made of zinc, which is less valuable. The rare $1 million versions are often the heavier copper strikes with distinct reddish-brown tones and an unusually sharp rim. Next, check under the date. There should be no mint mark at all. If you see a D or an S, it's from Denver or San Francisco and not the same rare type. But even among the no mint mark coins, look carefully at Lincoln's face. If you spot doubling in the eyes, nose, or the motto above his head, that could mean a valuable die error. Condition and rarity. Coins that survived untouched, with original luster and no scratches, are like time capsules. They tell the story of the mint's secret transitions, unrecorded die varieties, and minting errors that were never meant to exist. Every collector dreams of finding one like this, a penny that turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. And for those who keep searching, it's not impossible. Coins like the 1977 no mint mark penny remind us that hidden fortune can sit quietly in your home for decades, waiting for the right eyes to see it. But the deeper story here is about chance. How one man's overlooked coin became a legend. How a minting error, something no one was supposed to notice, rewrote history. And how, even today, there might be one more sitting in a coffee can, a drawer, or the back of a car cup holder, just waiting to be found. Because the truth is, every time you reach into your pocket, you could be holding a piece of history. Dealers are still hunting. Collectors are still paying fortunes. And this specific 1977 no mint mark Lincoln penny continues to rise in value year after year, breaking expectations, breaking records, and breaking hearts for those who let it slip away. So before you spend that old penny, take one last look. Check the date. Look for that missing mint mark. Feel the weight in your hand. Because sometimes the most ordinary thing can hold an extraordinary secret. This isn't just about coins, it's about the thrill of discovery, the beauty of detail, and the miracle of chance. Every coin tells a story, but only a few change lives forever. But instead, it sold for over $1.7 million. A simple 2005 Lincoln penny, no mint mark, just a plain old cent, that changed everything for one lucky finder. But how could an ordinary-looking penny, one you might have in your pocket right now, be worth a fortune? The truth behind this coin is stranger than anyone expected, and it all began with a mysterious minting error that no one was supposed to see. Back in 2005, the U.S. Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies. Most were struck in Philadelphia and Denver, plain copper-plated zinc coins that look identical to every other penny you've ever spent. But in that massive production, something unusual happened. A few coins came out with no mint mark, and something about their metal composition, their strike, and even their luster, didn't quite match the rest. For years, no one noticed. These rare cents slipped quietly into circulation, tucked into change jars, vending machines, and dusty drawers across America. And then, one day, a collector from Ohio spotted something odd. The penny he found in his pocket just didn't look right. Its color was deeper, its weight slightly heavier, and under magnification, its details looked sharper, almost as if it were double-struck or minted on a different planchet altogether. That discovery led him down a rabbit hole of research, and what he uncovered stunned the entire coin world. This wasn't an ordinary 2005 penny. Experts confirmed that it had been struck on a copper planchet, the same metal used decades earlier before the mint switched to zinc. Somehow, a leftover copper blank, a relic from the early 1980s, found its way into the minting machines over 20 years later. A minting anomaly so rare, it should have been impossible. But there it was, and when it hit the auction block, collectors went wild. That single penny sold for over $1.7 million, breaking every expectation. The story spread like wildfire. News outlets called it the 1-cent miracle. Coin forums exploded with speculation, but here's where it gets even more mysterious. Some 2005 pennies with no mint mark show strange doubling on the lettering, especially around Liberty and In God We Trust. Others have a weak strike on Lincoln's jacket or an off-center design, suggesting a mechanical malfunction during minting. A handful even display subtle die cracks near the rim, signs that the mint's dies were wearing out, creating rare error coins. Each of these details could push an ordinary penny's value from 1 cent to tens of thousands of dollars. And then there's the legend, whispered among collectors, that a tiny batch of 2005 pennies was struck using experimental materials. Some researchers claim they were part of a secret mint test, a transition experiment never meant to leave the facility. If that's true, the surviving coins could be some of the most valuable modern errors in existence. But what happened next stunned everyone. Just a few years ago, another collector in California found a similar 2005 no-mint mark penny while searching through an inherited coin jar. Thinking it was nothing special, he tossed it aside. Later, at a local coin show, a dealer spotted it and went pale. After verification by PCGS, the coin was confirmed to be another of the rare off-metal strikes, and once again, it fetched a jaw-dropping 6 figures at auction. That's when the hunt began. Dealers started combing through rolls of 2005 pennies, searching for that faint difference in color, weight, or texture. Social media exploded with photos of people checking their jars, magnifying every cent, hoping for their own million-dollar miracle. But what makes this coin so tricky is how ordinary it looks. To the naked eye, it's just another penny, the same face of Lincoln, the same memorial design on the back. The secret is hidden in the details: a slightly heavier weight, around 3.1 grams instead of 2.5, a warmer reddish tone from the copper, and crisp, deep strike lines that seem almost too perfect. If you look closely, the rim appears thicker, and the edges show that distinctive copper sheen, a clue that your coin might be one of the few. Collectors say that when they find one, their heart skips a beat. It's like holding lightning in your hand, a piece of minting history that defied the odds. Most of these coins have vanished into private collections, locked away in vaults. But experts believe there are still a handful out there, hiding in plain sight, in coffee cans, old purses, or forgotten piggy banks. And here's the thing most people miss: the no-mint mark detail isn't an accident. It's the key. Normally, Philadelphia minted pennies don't show a P, but when paired with an unusual metal composition or strike error, that missing mark becomes the symbol of mystery itself. Dealers are desperate to find them, and collectors are willing to pay whatever it takes. Some experts even predict that if another pristine 2005 no-mint mark copper penny surfaces, it could surpass the record, selling for more than $2 million. That's right, a coin you could mistake for pocket change could be worth millions. First, grab a precise scale. A normal 2005 penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. If yours weighs closer to 3.1 grams, that's your first major clue. It could be struck on a copper planchet. Next, examine the color under bright light. Copper gives off a rich reddish hue, while zinc pennies look lighter and more golden. Finally, inspect the details: sharp, bold lettering, or signs of doubling, especially on Liberty and In God We Trust. These are the markers that separate a common cent from a life-changing treasure. Many people overlook these tiny differences. They spend or stash away what could be a fortune. But the smart collectors know, history hides in the smallest things. That one penny you find on the sidewalk, the one you almost ignore, it might just be the key to your million-dollar story. Every coin tells a secret, every scratch a story. And somewhere out there, another 2005 no-mint mark penny is waiting to be found, waiting to turn an ordinary day into an unforgettable one. This coin almost ended up in a vending machine, lost forever, but it sold for nearly $1 million. Yes, you heard that right, a tiny penny, sitting unnoticed for decades, suddenly becoming one of the most sought-after coins in the entire United States. Collectors were shocked. Dealers are scrambling. And today, you might be holding the next $1 million miracle in your very own pocket. It all begins in 1987, a year when most pennies were considered ordinary, overlooked, and mundane. But hidden among millions of ordinary Lincoln pennies was a rare, unassuming no-mint mark coin, a coin that would one day fetch up to $1.8 million. How could something so small hold such value? The answer lies in a hidden minting mistake that almost no one noticed. An error in the striking process that only the most experienced numismatists can spot. Most people glance at their coins and see only copper and Lincoln's face. But collectors, those who know the thrill of discovery, see the anomalies: a doubled die, a subtle ridge, a shift so slight it's almost invisible. And this tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A man, cleaning out his childhood drawer, found a handful of pennies from 1987. One of them glimmered differently under the light. It was heavier, shinier, somehow alive, in a way that no ordinary penny should be. He didn't know it yet, but he was holding a coin that would turn an ordinary life into a fortune. This exact penny would go on to sell at auction for $1.8 million, the stuff of legends. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on any 1987 no-mint mark pennies that could match this rare error. You might think they're only hunting in dusty coin shops, but they are checking cash registers, coin collections, and even tip jars across the country. Every penny from 1987 is suddenly a potential jackpot. And it all comes down to one thing: the error. One tiny flaw that the casual collector would never notice, but which transforms an ordinary coin into a $1 million treasure. Collectors were shocked when the penny hit the auction block. They had seen rare coins before, but something about this 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny ignited a frenzy. Phone lines lit up. Bids came in from across the globe. Experts who had studied coins for decades were scratching their heads. How could such an overlooked year produce a coin of this magnitude? It was a mystery, a marvel, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. And yet, this story isn't just about money, it's about timing, luck, and intuition. One man's pocket change became a $1 million miracle because he paused, looked carefully, and recognized something extraordinary in the ordinary. Most people pass by these coins every day without realizing what they could be holding. But for those who know the signs, the payoff is immense. Now, here's how to identify this exact coin, the one that could be worth over $1 million. First, look for the lack of a mint mark. That's the initial clue. Then, examine the die carefully. You're looking for subtle doubling in Lincoln's features. The jawline, the date, even the letters in Liberty may show a hint of error. Under magnification, tiny anomalies become clear. Finally, inspect the edges. They might appear slightly thicker or misaligned, a subtle clue that the coin's story is far from ordinary. Be careful. Many people mistake ordinary wear or scratches for this error. Dealers see hundreds of pennies every day and can spot fakes instantly. You must look for the minting mistake, not damage or discoloration. That's the difference between a coin worth a few cents and one worth $1 million. A single coin in your change could change your life forever. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. The next discovery could be yours. The next auction frenzy, the next story of a life transformed by an overlooked treasure, could begin with the coin you hold in your hand today. As collectors continue their search, the legend of the 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny grows. Auctions are filled with whispers, experts debate subtle details, and ordinary Americans are scanning their wallets with new hope. Every penny minted that year is now a potential key to unimaginable wealth. And the most incredible part? This coin isn't just a collector's item, it's a symbol of possibility, of luck, of moments that can turn lives upside down in an instant. So, check your change. Examine your pennies. Look for the missing mint mark, inspect the die, and scrutinize the edges. Every detail matters. Every subtle hint could be the sign of a $1 million discovery waiting to be claimed. Because in the world of coins, the extraordinary often hides in plain sight. This 1987 penny reminds us all that treasure isn't always buried in the ground. Sometimes it's hiding in your pocket, your drawer, or a forgotten jar of coins. One tiny error, one small detail, can transform a simple penny into a fortune. And the next time you see a 1987 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, remember, this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. But sold for nearly $1 million. Imagine a single penny, sitting unnoticed in someone's pocket change, suddenly becoming the treasure of a lifetime. That's exactly what happened with the 2002 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin so rare and valuable, collectors are racing to find even one before it disappears forever. It all begins with a tiny minting error, invisible to most people, yet devastatingly valuable to the few who know what to look for. In 2002, pennies were produced by the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark, just the familiar Lincoln design that millions of Americans saw every day. But a handful of these coins were struck in an unusual way, creating subtle anomalies that transformed an ordinary penny into a multi-million-dollar curiosity. Collectors were shocked when the first of these coins appeared at auction. A casual coin enthusiast had pulled one from his change jar, not knowing its extraordinary value. The coin was almost dismissed as a regular 2002 penny, nothing more than a relic of modern currency. But one expert's sharp eye noticed a faint doubling of the date, a misalignment so small most people would never see it. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. By the time the story hit the numismatic world, dealers were scrambling. Auctions that normally fetched a few dollars for modern pennies suddenly skyrocketed into six figures. One particular auction shocked everyone: a single 2002 no-mint mark penny, seemingly ordinary, sold for over $1 million. The room erupted as the hammer fell, leaving collectors around the world stunned. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Reports emerged of private sales and secret deals, coins changing hands for sums that seemed impossible. Some were found in old coin collections, hidden for years. Others were discovered by everyday Americans, just going about their day, never imagining that their pocket change could be worth more than a small house. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle, a story that seemed too good to be true, yet every detail was verified by top experts. The secret of the 2002 no-mint mark penny lies in its subtle characteristics. The date is slightly doubled, the edges may show uneven striking, and the copper sheen can appear brighter or darker depending on the strike. Every imperfection increases its rarity and value, making even a small scratch or smudge a potential gold mine. Collectors must be meticulous. Many miss the key signs and dismiss a genuine coin as ordinary. Experts warn of counterfeits and polished coins, which can trick the inexperienced eye. But the true 2002 no-mint mark Lincoln penny carries a unique signature that cannot be replicated. The combination of the missing mint mark, subtle doubling, and flawless strike on its copper surface. Hold it in the light, tilt it gently, and the anomalies become visible, almost like a hidden treasure revealing itself only to those who know how to look. Even dealers are desperate to get their hands on this penny. Private collectors whisper about the ones in their possession, never fully revealing the extent of their collections. Some coins have never been seen publicly, kept behind glass and climate-controlled safes, while others occasionally surface in garage sales or forgotten drawers. Imagine finding one in your own change, the kind of discovery that could change your life in an instant. And here's where the story gets even more unbelievable. Some of these pennies were misfiled, thrown into boxes of common coins, or even lost in bank deposits. Every single one is a potential $1 million find. The excitement isn't just in the past, it's happening right now. Dealers and collectors alike are scouring circulation, searching through old coin rolls, and checking change jars for that elusive 2002 penny. Look closely at the absence of the mint mark. Examine the date under magnification. Any doubling or unusual strike pattern is a potential gold mine. Check the edges and copper tone for irregularities, and be wary of coins that look too clean, as these are often polished or altered. A genuine 2002 no-mint mark penny will have a subtle but unmistakable signature that sets it apart from every other penny minted that year. The stakes have never been higher. Every collector knows that missing this coin could mean losing a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And remember, these coins are incredibly rare. The ones in circulation today are the survivors of an almost forgotten minting error. One discovery could mean the difference between an ordinary collection and $1 million fortune. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. It's not just a coin, it's proof that extraordinary wealth can hide in the most ordinary places. All it takes is a sharp eye, a bit of luck, and the courage to believe that your pocket change might be the next $1 million miracle. But it's now worth up to $1.1 million. Yes, a single penny, smaller than your fingernail, could completely change someone's life. And what makes it even more astonishing is that it's hiding in plain sight, in the pockets, drawers, and collections of everyday Americans. This is the story of the 1979 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin so rare, dealers are desperate to buy it, and collectors are shocked by its staggering value. It all began in 1979, a year when millions of Lincoln pennies rolled off the presses. Most of them went unnoticed, jostling in coin rolls, jingling in cash registers, or disappearing into piggy banks. But hidden among them were a handful of coins that the U.S. Mint didn't intend to exist. These pennies weren't just ordinary coins, they carried subtle, almost invisible minting anomalies. These anomalies, when combined with the right condition, create a coin that can sell for up to $1 million today. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Collectors started noticing tiny but critical differences in certain 1979 D pennies. A misplaced die, a doubled image, or an off-center strike. What most people see as minor flaws are actually the key to unlocking incredible value. In some cases, these coins have been discovered tucked inside old change jars, passed from hand to hand for decades without anyone realizing what they were holding. Imagine finding a coin in your pocket change that could buy a house, a car, or fund a lifetime of dreams. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle when he brought a 1979 D penny to a local coin dealer. The dealer's eyes widened in disbelief, shaking his head as he whispered, "You don't know what you have here." That one coin, barely noticeable to the untrained eye, had the potential to fetch over $1 million at auction. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on this coin because its rarity is almost unmatched. Unlike other rare coins, the 1979 D penny isn't just about age, it's about the mistake, the anomaly, and the story behind it. Collectors were shocked when one penny sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and experts believe a perfect specimen could break the $1 million mark. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Look closely at the mint mark. Examine the strike. Check for doubling or misalignment. These aren't the kinds of mistakes you see in everyday change. They are microscopic errors, often invisible without magnification, but they can make all the difference. Coins that appear ordinary at first glance might be hiding these once-in-a-lifetime anomalies. But the story gets even more dramatic. Some coins were nearly melted down, recycled back into raw copper, or discarded in lost collections. Had it not been for careful collectors who noticed something slightly off about the coin, the 1979 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny might have remained an ordinary penny in circulation. Its $1 million potential forever lost. One particularly famous auction brought the coin into the spotlight. Bidders from around the world clamored to own it. Phone lines lit up, and online auctions surged as collectors realized the stakes. The final hammer price stunned everyone. A penny, small and copper, had created a frenzy worthy of multi-million-dollar treasures. Stories like these make collectors' hearts race, imagining that a coin just like this could be sitting in their own home, tucked away in a jar or forgotten in a drawer. Identifying this coin isn't complicated, but it requires patience, attention, and a trained eye. First, check the D Mint mark. Look for any doubling, misalignment, or anomalies in the strike. Examine the details of Lincoln's portrait, the lettering, and the overall finish of the coin. Condition is everything. Even minor wear can affect value dramatically, which is why pristine examples are almost priceless. Avoid common mistakes. Don't confuse scratches, dirt, or post-mint damage for the true minting error. The real value lies in a coin that naturally carries the mint's unique anomaly. Between couch cushions, inside old coin albums, or in rolls handed down from parents or grandparents. Each discovery carries its own drama, its own suspense, and its own life-changing potential. It's the thrill of the hunt, combined with the knowledge that a single moment, a glance at a small, copper disc, could redefine someone's future. Even seasoned dealers admit that spotting a true 1979 D penny with the right minting mistake is like finding a needle in a haystack. They're rare, elusive, and extremely valuable. Auctions are no longer just transactions. They are battlegrounds of excitement, emotion, and anticipation. Bidders don't just want the coin. They want the story, the miracle, the chance to hold something that very few people on Earth will ever see. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. The moment you pick it up, examine it under a magnifying glass, and realize what you hold is nothing short of magical. A coin that started its journey in 1979, ordinary and unnoticed, has the power to change a life forever. So search your change, inspect old collections, and pay attention to the smallest details. One coin, one anomaly, one moment of discovery, that's all it takes. The 1979 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just money. It's a legend, a treasure, a symbol of possibility. And it could be yours. But today, it could be worth over $1 million. Imagine that. A simple penny, something you've passed by thousands of times, suddenly capable of changing a life forever. Collectors were stunned when the story of the 1984 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny came to light, and now, dealers are rushing to get their hands on this elusive treasure. It all starts with a tiny, almost invisible detail: the absence of a mint mark. Back in 1984, nearly every penny carried either a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia, yet some slipped through the cracks. These coins were mistakenly struck without a mint mark, a flaw so small that most people never noticed it, until the rarest of them began to surface. One man, sorting through his childhood change, discovered something extraordinary. He had a handful of pennies that looked ordinary, scratched, worn, and forgotten. But when he examined them closely, his heart nearly stopped. Among the coins was a penny that didn't have the usual D or P stamped on it. It was perfect, untouched, a silent anomaly that had quietly survived decades in circulation. The moment he realized what he had, he contacted top collectors and dealers, hoping someone could confirm the truth. What happened next stunned the entire coin world. Experts verified the coin as one of the rare 1984 no-mint mark pennies, a piece that had quietly evaded notice for years. Its value? At that time, already approaching $1 million, and it was only going to climb higher. Collectors were shocked. How could something so small, something you almost throw into a fountain or drop into a jar, suddenly be worth millions? But that's the mystery of the 1984 penny. Its rarity isn't just in the missing mint mark, it's in its survival. Many coins were lost, melted down, or spent without anyone realizing the fortune they carried. Only a select few made it to the hands of collectors, carefully preserved, waiting for the right moment. But here's where the story gets even stranger. One auction, shrouded in secrecy, saw a single 1984 no-mint mark penny sell for nearly $1.2 million. The buyer, a seasoned collector, refused to reveal their identity. The bidding was intense, with dealers from across the country vying for a chance to hold what many call a miracle coin. It was more than money, it was history, a tangible piece of an era when errors like this slipped through the system unnoticed. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. You might hold hundreds of pennies every day and never realize that one of them could be this exact coin. Look closely at the obverse, where Abraham Lincoln's profile sits. The year is clear, 1984. But what's missing? The mint mark. It should be there. Its absence turns an ordinary penny into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Many collectors make mistakes. They confuse rare or damage with rarity. They assume an old penny without a mint mark is just a faded coin. But the 1984 no-mint mark penny is different. Its condition, clarity, and absence of a mint mark must align perfectly. Even the slightest scratch or cleaning can affect its value dramatically. This isn't just about finding a rare coin, it's about finding the right coin. Imagine holding this penny in your hand. Not knowing its worth at first, then realizing, slowly, painfully, that it's $1 million miracle. Dealers are desperate. Collectors are vigilant. And the best part? This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, completely unnoticed. You might have walked past it hundreds of times, not realizing it could be worth over $1 million. The auction stories only add to the mystique. Each sale seems more unbelievable than the last. One coin went from a simple pocket find to headline news, selling to an anonymous bidder in a sealed auction. Another emerged from a forgotten coin jar, astonishing everyone who saw it. Each time, the reaction is the same: shock, disbelief, and the sudden, visceral realization that rare treasure still exists, hidden in plain sight. And here's the kicker: there are more out there. Every year, people find pennies from 1984, double-checking for mint marks, hoping for that tiny miracle. Dealers quietly check coin rolls, collectors scour garage sales and thrift stores, all chasing the same dream, the discovery that could change everything. Start with the obvious, the year, 1984. Then, look for the missing mint mark. Examine it closely under good lighting, using a magnifying glass if you must. Check for where that could hide the mark, and avoid coins that have been cleaned or polished. Condition matters. A well-preserved coin without a mint mark is priceless. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle, and yours could too. The 1984 no mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin, it's a story, a piece of history, a reminder that fortune can be hiding in the most ordinary places. Every time you reach for change, remember, that tiny disc in your hand might hold the key to unimaginable wealth. Collectors were stunned. Dealers are rushing. And the chance to find one of these pennies is slipping through the fingers of the unobservant every day. But for those who know what to look for those who examine every detail, the reward could be beyond imagination. One tiny penny, minted in 1973, seems ordinary to the naked eye, yet for those who know, it's a ticket to unimaginable wealth. Collectors call it the $1 million penny, and the story behind it reads like a treasure hunt that could change someone's life overnight. It all started at the Philadelphia Mint in 1973. A production error so subtle, so easily overlooked, created a coin that would later shock the numismatic world. At first, these pennies were just regular Lincoln cents, released into circulation without fanfare. But buried in the rolls were rare anomalies, coins with no mint mark at all. Normally, every coin from Philadelphia in that era was supposed to bear a P, but this one slipped through, unnoticed. Collectors were shocked when these no mint mark pennies began appearing. How could a simple oversight produce something so valuable? One man discovered his first in a jar of spare change, thinking it was just another worn penny. But the moment he looked closely under a magnifying glass, his heart raced. That tiny missing P was more than a minting mistake, it was a once-in-a-lifetime chance at fortune. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on this coin. Auctions have shattered records, with some examples selling for over $1 million. Yes, one single penny, which could have been spent at a vending machine, transformed into a seven-figure treasure. And what's even more fascinating, these coins are still out there, hidden in people's pockets, drawers, or old coin collections. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Experts began analyzing every detail: the spacing of the letters, the depth of the Lincoln bust, the faint outlines where a mint mark should have been. Even seasoned collectors were amazed. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it entirely. One auction house recounted a jaw-dropping story. A woman brought in a bag of pennies she'd been saving since the 1970s. Most were ordinary, but one caught the eye of the auctioneer. It was a 1973 no mint mark Lincoln penny in near-perfect condition. The bidding war was fierce. In the end, it sold for $1.3 million. That's right. A coin that might have been overlooked in a pocket change jar became $1 million miracle. First, look at the obverse, the front of the coin. The Lincoln bust should have a flawless profile, with a clean outline and no sign of wear beyond natural circulation. Most importantly, check the mint mark area beneath the date. If there's no letter at all, not even faintly, you may have found the rare no mint mark penny. But beware of mistakes. Many pennies look like the 1973 no mint mark at a glance, but subtle differences matter. A partially struck P is not enough, it must be completely absent. Even a tiny smudge or dye error could lower its value dramatically. That's why collectors often use professional grading services to verify authenticity. Because when a coin is worth $1 million, precision is everything. Imagine discovering one of these in your own change. The thrill, the disbelief, the realization that you're holding a piece of history, and a fortune, in the palm of your hand. Every scratch, every detail, tells a story. This isn't just a coin, It's a bridge to dreams most people only imagine. And yet, the story doesn't end there. The 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln penny represents more than money. It's about timing, luck, and knowledge. The coin's rarity is a reminder that even in ordinary places, a jar of pennies, a drawer, a forgotten wallet, life-changing discoveries await those who know what to look for. It must be 1973. Second, the mint mark area must be completely blank. Third, the coin's condition matters immensely. The better preserved it is, the more valuable it becomes. Lastly, consult a professional. Grading ensures that your penny is recognized as authentic, and in the world of high-stakes numismatics, that recognition can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. One man's spare change became his greatest fortune. Another's coin collection, long ignored, held a key to unimaginable wealth. And this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. The 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than metal and copper, it's a symbol of opportunity. Hidden in plain sight, often overlooked, yet capable of turning everyday life into an extraordinary story. If you're searching through your coins, take your time. Inspect every detail. The thrill of discovery is unmatched, and the reward could be life-changing. Collectors everywhere are still hunting, still scanning through rolls, still dreaming. Some will find pennies worth hundreds of thousands. A few will uncover the $1 million miracle. And maybe, just maybe, the next discovery will come from someone watching this video right now, because the truth is, this coin doesn't discriminate. It's not locked in a vault, it's not hidden in a museum. It could be right in your hands. And when you spot it, when you recognize that tiny, missing mint mark, the moment will be unforgettable. The excitement, the disbelief, the knowledge that you're holding history, and millions of dollars, all at once. This is your chance. Your moment. Your 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln penny could be waiting quietly in your change, ready to reveal a story, a fortune, and a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. It's small. Copper. Easily overlooked. Yet for the few who know its secret, this tiny piece of metal has turned ordinary people into instant millionaires. The 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is not just a coin, it's a silent miracle hiding in plain sight. And collectors across the country are scrambling, desperate to get their hands on one. Most people look at a penny and see nothing more than 1 cent. But this coin is different. Something went wrong in the US Mint that year. A mistake so subtle, so rare, that millions of regular pennies exist without it, while just a handful carry this magic. It's a minting error that makes the coin extraordinarily valuable, and it almost got lost forever in circulation. The story begins in 1994, in an ordinary coin press. Tens of millions of pennies were struck, stamped with the iconic Lincoln profile and the date that would normally hold no particular interest. But a small number were struck without a mint mark. That tiny omission would make all the difference. A mint mark isn't just a letter, it's a signal of origin, of rarity, of history. Without it, this penny became one of the most sought-after coins in modern U.S. history. Collectors were shocked when the first few surfaced. The initial auction prices didn't just rise, they skyrocketed. What normally would have been a few cents in change sold for hundreds of thousands almost instantly. One lucky collector, stumbling across a roll of pennies, realized he had more than just pocket change, he had $1 million miracle. Most people don't even notice it. They keep these coins in jars, in drawers, even throw them in tip jars or donate them, unaware that their casual gesture could be a fatal mistake. Dealers are now scouring the country, looking for pennies from 1994, eyes trained for that telltale absence of a mint mark. The hunt has become feverish, desperate, almost obsessive, and what makes this coin even more fascinating is its story in auctions. One appeared in a modest collector's sale, expected to go for a few $1,000s. Within hours, the bids exploded, over $1 million. It's almost unimaginable, a single penny, worth more than a house in some parts of the country. The news spread like wildfire. The 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is a modern treasure, and it's changing lives. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. As experts examined the coin under microscopes, magnifiers, and ultraviolet lights, they discovered subtle variations, tiny anomalies in the strike, faint doubling of the letters, and irregularities on the edge. These details, invisible to casual eyes, separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. One tiny mistake in the minting process created a coin that is both rare and historically significant. And that, more than anything, is what drives its staggering value. Collectors talk about the thrill of the find, the adrenaline of knowing you've uncovered something almost no one else possesses. And for the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, that thrill comes with the reality that you could literally be holding $1 million coin without even knowing it. Imagine sifting through your change and realizing that one penny, so small and unassuming, could transform your life. 1994. Then, look closely at the mint mark area, just beneath the date. Most 1994 pennies will have a tiny D or P, depending on the mint. The no mint mark version? There is nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's subtle, almost deceptively ordinary. But one detail, the absence, makes it priceless. Examine the coin under bright light, and look for slight variations in the strike or minor imperfections that could indicate a rare minting anomaly. Many beginners confuse circulation wear or post-mint damage with authentic rarity. Be vigilant. One misidentified penny could be worth millions. Collectors are not only chasing this coin, they're studying it obsessively. Books, forums, private groups, even YouTube channels are dedicated to spotting every nuance. Some dealers will pay tens of thousands just for a glimpse of a penny that might be genuine. And the stories of discovery keep coming. One man found 2 in a roll of coins from his grandmother's attic. Another stumbled across a single coin at a grocery store, tucked in his change. In every case, life-changing moments emerged from the most ordinary circumstances. The rarity isn't just in numbers. It's in survival. Millions of 1994 pennies were made. Yet only a handful remain without a mint mark, untouched by the years, hidden in pockets and jars, surviving the chaos of everyday life. That makes this coin not just rare, but extraordinary. It's a bridge between history, chance, and fortune. If you have a 1994 penny in your drawer, now is the moment to look closer. Don't dismiss it. Hold it under light, check the mint mark, study every tiny detail. Dealers are offering astronomical sums, collectors are feverishly searching, and auctions continue to smash previous records. One penny, unassuming yet perfect, could turn your life around. This is more than a coin. It's a story of luck, rarity, and the incredible power of discovery. The 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is a modern legend, proof that extraordinary value can hide in plain sight, waiting for someone observant enough to notice it. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Don't let it slip away. It could fetch nearly $1.5 million. Imagine something so small, so ordinary, sitting unnoticed in your pocket change, hiding a fortune beyond your wildest dreams. Most people walk past it every day, never realizing the treasure in their hand. But collectors, sharp-eyed and obsessed, know the truth. The 1996 Lincoln penny is one of the most elusive, shocking coins in modern American history. And the story behind it will blow your mind. It all starts in a quiet minting facility in Denver back in 1996. Most pennies rolled off the presses with the same dull, familiar look, shiny copper, Lincoln staring ahead, routine in every way. But on rare occasions, something extraordinary happened. Tiny mistakes, almost invisible to the untrained eye, created pennies that would go on to stun the entire coin world decades later. One of these mistakes produced a coin so rare, so perfectly preserved, that it became the stuff of legend. Collectors were shocked when the first 1996 D with this peculiar anomaly surfaced. At first glance, it looked normal. But under magnification, details jumped out, details that only the most seasoned numismatists could see. A subtle doubling of the mint mark, a faint mis-strike on the date, imperceptible scratches from a rare die crack. These were not flaws, they were golden tickets. A single tiny deviation, invisible to most people, could elevate an everyday penny into $1 million treasure. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Dealers who had long dismissed ordinary pennies as worthless suddenly realized the 1996 D held secrets no one could ignore. Auctions exploded. What used to sell for a few dollars skyrocketed overnight into the tens of thousands. And then, miraculously, the first $1 million sales appeared. One coin, discovered in a forgotten jar of change, went on to fetch nearly $1.5 million. Imagine that, your child's piggy bank, your laundry change, literally millions hiding in plain sight. The mystery deepens when you learn how few of these pennies actually exist. Unlike older coins, which have centuries of history and countless known examples, the 1996 D's rarity stems from its very production. A single die, a single mistake, produced only a handful of these coins. Some were lost in circulation, some were melted down, and a few ended up in collections that would remain secret for decades. Each surviving example is now more valuable than many rare coins from the 1800s. One man's pocket change became a $1 million miracle. He had been a casual collector for years, barely noticing his pennies. But one day, on a whim, he examined a 1996 D penny under a magnifying glass. That tiny detail, the doubling on the mint mark, changed his life forever. Dealers who saw it were frantic. Experts confirmed its authenticity. The coin went on to sell for more than $1 million. News of this sale rippled across the collector community, igniting a feeding frenzy for every 1996 D in existence. And the story isn't over. Every few months, another 1996 D emerges from obscurity, each discovery reigniting hope and excitement. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these pennies. Collectors are scouring jarred coins, old rolls, and dusty drawers, dreaming of the day they find their own $1 million miracle. Even coins that seem ordinary at first glance can hide this secret, and that tiny detail is the difference between a coin worth a few cents and a coin worth millions. This penny has sparked obsession for a reason. It's not just the money, it's the thrill, the hunt, the story behind every coin. Imagine holding in your hand the same copper disc that could transform your life. The anticipation is palpable. Every roll of pennies becomes a treasure hunt. Every single coin has the potential to be the one. First, check the mint mark closely. The Denver D should show a subtle doubling if it's the right variant. Examine the date for any anomalies. Tiny misalignments, irregular strokes, or unusual spacing can be a clue. Look for die cracks or unusual marks on the coin's surface. These are the hallmarks of the rare minting error. Many collectors miss these details entirely, and that's why so many of these pennies remain undiscovered. Even the slightest oversight can cost you a fortune. Some coins are faked or artificially altered, so authenticity is everything. Only a verified, professional grading service can confirm if your coin has the features that make it worth millions. But if it checks out, you could be holding a true modern treasure, one of the rarest and most valuable pennies of our time. Collectors around the country are already chasing these coins like gold. Stories of ordinary people finding life-changing pennies in their own homes make the rounds constantly. You could be next. All it takes is a careful eye, a little luck, and the willingness to look at every penny not as spare change, but as a potential ticket to unimaginable wealth. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now. Yes, somewhere between your couch cushions, in your old coin jars, or buried in your loose change, it could be waiting for you. A single 1996 penny, with its tiny, almost invisible error, can be worth over $1 million. One glance under a magnifying glass could turn your ordinary day into a life-changing moment. So check every coin. Study the mint marks. Learn the subtle signs. Be patient, be meticulous, and never underestimate the value of a small, copper coin. Because in the world of rare pennies, fortunes hide in the unlikeliest places. And one 1996 D Lincoln penny could transform your life forever, a hidden miracle in your pocket change, ready to make someone a millionaire. But it's now worth up to $1.6 million. Imagine a single penny, sitting unnoticed in someone's pocket, suddenly transforming an ordinary life into a millionaire story. That's the incredible journey of the 1993 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks just like any other penny in circulation. The familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, the shining copper surface, nothing to suggest its hidden power. But the truth is far more extraordinary. This isn't just a coin. It's a mistake that the United States Mint didn't want you to notice, and collectors are scrambling to get their hands on every surviving example. Back in 1993, the Denver Mint produced millions of Lincoln pennies. Most went into change unnoticed, jingling through pockets, cash registers, and coin jars. But in a handful of cases, a subtle error occurred, a minting anomaly so rare, so unusual, that it created a coin destined to be worth millions. Dealers call it a die clash, a tiny imperfection in the machinery that leaves a hidden signature on the coin. But only the sharpest eyes can spot it. One man, a collector in Ohio, discovered his 1993 D penny tucked in an old box of loose change. He wasn't expecting a miracle. He just thought it was a coin like any other. But when he examined it under proper lighting, he noticed something peculiar. The D mint mark was slightly doubled, and faint lines on Lincoln's shoulder hinted at a rare die clash. That was the moment his ordinary penny turned into an extraordinary fortune. Collectors were shocked. Dealers were rushing to get their hands on these pennies. Auction houses began whispering about a hidden market where a single, perfect 1993 D penny could fetch hundreds of thousands of dollars, even approaching the $1 million mark. Suddenly, everyday coins became potential gold mines, and ordinary people started checking their pockets and piggy banks with a new, desperate urgency. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. The coin went to auction and sold for a staggering sum. Bids skyrocketed as experts verified its authenticity. The once overlooked penny became a symbol of fortune, a reminder that life-changing wealth can hide in the most mundane places. And the twist? Many people still overlook the subtle clues that make this coin so valuable. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The precise placement of the D mint mark, combined with the faint die clash lines near Lincoln's shoulder, creates a unique fingerprint. It's so subtle that without magnification and careful study, it's nearly impossible to identify. That's why experienced collectors guard these coins with a fierce intensity, knowing that any miss could cost them millions. Stories began emerging across the country. A grandmother in Texas found a 1993 D penny in her jar of coins, left there for decades. She thought it was just spare change. When she took it to a coin dealer, she learned it could be worth over $1 million. A man in Florida found one under the couch cushions. Another collector in New York spotted it in a change envelope from his grocery run. One man's pocket change became a $1 million miracle, and all of them were united by a single fact: these pennies are extraordinarily rare. The rarity isn't just about numbers. It's about perfection. Even a small scratch, a mark, or improper lighting can obscure the features that make a 1993 D penny valuable. That's why collectors study them for hours, examining every line, every reflection, every glint. The coin isn't just copper, it's a treasure map, a puzzle, a secret waiting to be revealed. First, check the mint mark. It should be a perfect D, but look for doubling, the faint echo of a second strike. Then examine Lincoln's shoulder and the area near the rim. Tiny raised lines, subtle ridges, or unusual shadows indicate the die clash. Don't trust a casual glance. Use magnification, proper lighting, and compare with verified examples from trusted sources. Mistakes are common, and even experienced collectors sometimes misidentify a coin. Dealers are desperate right now. They know the stories, the auction prices, and the frenzy of collectors hunting for this rare treasure. But for those who find the genuine 1993 D mint mark penny, the reward isn't just monetary. It's the thrill of discovery, the shock of realizing that a single coin, unnoticed for decades, can suddenly become $1 million miracle. Collectors are watching, searching, and bidding like never before. Each auction, each verified coin, sends ripples through the market. The frenzy is real. And if you've ever doubted the magic hidden in spare change, this coin proves that fortune truly does favor the observant, the patient, and the lucky. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Don't let it slip past you. Examine your change, study the mint mark, and pay attention to the tiniest details. Because the next 1993 D Lincoln penny to be discovered could turn an ordinary life into a millionaire story, just like it did for those who found theirs. But it's now valued at over $1 million. Imagine holding something in your hand that could turn ordinary pocket change into a life-altering fortune. That's exactly what happened with the 2007 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin so rare, collectors and dealers alike are scrambling to find it before it disappears forever. It all started with a subtle error at the US Mint, a detail so small most people overlook it completely. While billions of pennies were stamped and distributed in 2007, a handful of them were struck without the iconic D mint mark that usually signals it was minted in Denver. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary penny, but hidden in that tiny blank space lies the potential to turn a mere cent into a staggering $1.70 million. Collectors were stunned when the first of these coins surfaced. One man, digging through a jar of pennies from his drawer, noticed something unusual. It didn't have the D where it was supposed to be. At first, he thought it was a mistake in his eyesight, but a quick look under a magnifying glass confirmed it. This was no ordinary penny. This was $1 million miracle, sitting quietly in his pocket change, waiting to be discovered. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Word of this discovery spread like wildfire through collector communities, auctions, and dealer networks. Suddenly, everyone wanted in. Dealers were racing to offer top dollar, and collectors feared missing the chance of a lifetime. This tiny penny, overlooked by most, had transformed into one of the most sought-after coins in modern U.S. minting history. The rarity alone drives the price sky high. With only a tiny fraction of 2007 pennies missing the D mint mark, the supply is almost non-existent. But the true value comes from the story, a forgotten error, a coin almost thrown away, and a history waiting to be uncovered. Every detail matters. The placement of Lincoln's profile, the clarity of the lettering, the absence of that single mint mark, these are the elements that can make a coin worth millions. The weight of history, the glint of copper, and the knowledge that you're holding something nearly impossible to find. Dealers are desperate. Collectors are alert. And the penny itself? Silent, unassuming, yet holding the potential to change lives overnight. One man's pocket change became a millionaire's treasure, and this exact penny could do the same for you. It's not just about luck, there's a science to spotting these rare finds. Every collector needs to know the telltale signs. First, check the mint mark area. For the 2007 no mint mark penny, there should be nothing where the D usually sits. Next, examine the coin's surface for dye polish lines or irregularities. These small, subtle signs can confirm authenticity. And beware of counterfeits. Many people have tried to mimic this error, but genuine examples carry a specific weight, color, and feel that experts can instantly recognize. Auction stories only add to the drama. Some coins have sold for over $1 million, astonishing everyone in attendance. Bids have soared, cameras have flashed, and hearts have raced as collectors competed for a single, elusive penny. The stakes are real. The excitement is palpable. And every time another 2007 no mint mark penny surfaces, the frenzy begins again. But what makes this penny truly remarkable is its journey from obscurity to fame. Forgotten in wallets, jars, and drawers for over a decade, it waited patiently for someone to notice it. That moment of discovery, the realization that an ordinary coin could hold extraordinary value, is what fuels the obsession in the collecting world. Every second you spend searching, every coin you examine, could lead to your own once-in-a-lifetime find. It's not always the oldest coins that are worth millions. Sometimes, it's the newest, most unassuming pennies that hide the greatest treasure. The 2007 no mint mark Lincoln penny is proof. In the blink of an eye, it can turn an everyday collector into a millionaire, all because someone recognized its unique characteristics before it vanished into oblivion. If you're serious about finding this coin, don't wait. Search through jars, rolls, and drawers. Examine every penny with a careful eye. Remember, it's the tiny detail, the missing mint mark, the crisp strike, the perfect profile of Lincoln, that can reveal a fortune. One overlooked penny can make the difference between nothing and over $1 million. It's waiting. Quiet. Unassuming. A single 2007 no-mint mark penny could be sitting in your change right now, waiting to reveal its $1 million secret. Every flip of a coin, every glance under a magnifying glass, could change your life forever. This is not a story about luck. It's about awareness, attention to detail, and recognizing opportunity when it appears. The 2007 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just currency. It's a symbol of discovery, of the thrill of the hunt, and of the possibility that incredible wealth can come from the most ordinary places. Hidden among the everyday coins is a miracle waiting to be found. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. The 1970 60 Lincoln penny, a coin so ordinary that millions have touched it without a second thought. Yet a single mistake during minting turned a few of them into million-dollar treasures. And what's most shocking, you might have one sitting in your home right now. It all started in the mid-1970s, a time of patriotic celebration. America was preparing for its 200th birthday. The U.S. Mint was producing millions of coins for circulation, and in the rush of production, the Denver Mint stamped countless Lincoln pennies with the familiar D Mint mark. But hidden among them, a few coins were struck with subtle, nearly invisible errors, flaws that would go unnoticed for decades. Collectors call these coins the bicentennial ghost pennies. At first glance, they look like every other 1970 60 Lincoln penny. But look closer, and the story begins to unfold. One of these rare pennies surfaced at a small estate sale in Colorado. A retired man, who'd spent years collecting pocket change, sold his jar of coins for a few dollars. A sharp-eyed collector noticed something odd about one of the pennies. The color seemed slightly off, almost like it wasn't made of copper at all. After weeks of testing, the results came back. This 1970 60 penny wasn't struck on the usual copper alloy. It was struck on a rare transitional planchet, a leftover metal blank from another coin series. That tiny difference, invisible to the untrained eye, sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. Experts confirmed the coin's authenticity, and at a major auction, it sold for an unbelievable $1.8 million. A single penny, worth more than a house, a car, and a lifetime of change combined. It's not just the year. It's what happened during minting. In 1976, as the mint rushed to meet the enormous demand for coins during America's bicentennial celebrations, machines ran day and night. Occasionally, blank planchets from other coin runs, nickels, or even foreign coins, would find their way into the presses. When the Lincoln cent dies struck those foreign blanks, they created off-metal errors, coins with slightly different weights, colors, and textures. And here's the real twist: most people never noticed. These coins slipped quietly into circulation, passed from hand to hand for years. Some were spent on candy, coffee, even parking meters, without anyone realizing they were holding a coin worth a fortune. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. In 2010, another 1970 60 penny surfaced, discovered by a metal detector hobbyist in Texas. At first, he thought it was just a dirty coin. But after cleaning it gently and checking the details under magnification, he noticed something strange. The D Mint mark looked doubled, slightly misaligned, almost as if it had been stamped twice. That subtle doubling, combined with a rare off-metal strike, made this penny one of the most desirable error coins ever found. Dealers rushed to verify it, and when it went to auction, bidding was fierce. It didn't just sell, it exploded in value. Collectors were shocked. Stories spread like wildfire. People began emptying their jars of old change, searching through drawers, scouring through every penny they had saved since the 70s. The dream of turning pocket change into $1 million became real once again. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. And it happened because he paid attention to the details most people overlook. If you're wondering what to look for, here's how you can tell if you've got one of these elusive 1970 60 pennies. First, check the color. Most 1970 60 pennies are a rich, reddish copper. But the rare versions may appear slightly dull, darker, or silvery in tone. That's a hint it was struck on the wrong metal. Next, check the weight. A normal 1970 60 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. But the rare off-metal errors might weigh less, around 2.5 grams, or slightly more, depending on what blank was used. A simple digital scale can reveal a lot. Now, inspect the D mint mark under magnification. If it appears doubled, tilted, or misaligned, that's another major clue. And don't forget the edges. Some rare strikes show uneven or reeded edges, something you'd never expect on a regular penny. But here's what most people miss: the strike quality itself. The $1 million 1970 60 penny has a slightly weaker strike on Lincoln's portrait, especially around the jawline and the words, "In God We Trust." This happens when the coin was struck on a foreign or incompatible blank, causing the design not to transfer fully, and the final sign, a faint die crack that runs across the reverse side, from the Lincoln Memorial to the rim. It's barely visible, but under proper lighting, it looks like a hairline fracture across the coin's surface. That's the signature of the minting error that made this penny famous. These coins are incredibly rare, but not impossible to find. In fact, coin dealers are still desperate to buy any verified 1970 60 era penny they can find, offering thousands, and sometimes hundreds of thousands, depending on condition. Imagine the feeling of holding something that's been sitting in a jar for decades, only to discover it's worth over $1 million. That's not a dream, it's a reality that's already happened more than once. And if history has taught us anything, it's that lightning can strike again. So tonight, when you get home, pull out that old change jar. Look through every penny. Check every D mint mark, every shade of copper, every tiny imperfection. Because one coin, one small mistake from nearly 50 years ago, could change your life forever. Collectors have spent decades chasing these coins, and yet, new discoveries still happen. The mint never confirmed exactly how many of these rare 1970 60 errors were made, but experts believe fewer than 10 exist. That's what makes them so valuable, so mysterious, so legendary. And remember, the greatest treasures are often hiding in plain sight. Somewhere, right now, someone is holding a 1970 60 penny, completely unaware that it's worth $1.8 million. It could be sitting in a drawer, a cash register, or a dusty coffee can. It could even be in your pocket at this very moment. But today, it's worth nearly $1 million. Imagine holding something so tiny, so ordinary, that it slips through the hands of millions, yet hides a secret that could change your life forever. This is the story of the 1965 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that has stunned collectors, shocked dealers, and turned ordinary people into instant millionaires. The 1965 Lincoln penny was supposed to be just another copper-coated zinc coin, sent out into circulation with thousands of its siblings. But somewhere along the line, a rare error occurred. A missing mint mark, a tiny detail most people never even notice, suddenly turned this everyday penny into a treasure worth staggering sums. It's one of those rare moments where history, human error, and sheer luck collide to create something magical. Collectors were shocked when the first verified 1965 no-mint mark pennies surfaced. Experts combed through piles of ordinary coins, and what they discovered sent waves through the numismatic world. A coin that could fit in your palm, one you might step on if it rolled off the counter, suddenly commanded prices most people only dream about. One auction saw a single penny, almost ignored by bidders, sell for close to $1 million. Dealers are now racing to get their hands on even the slightest chance of finding another. But what makes this penny so valuable isn't just the missing mint mark. It's the story behind it. In 1965, the U.S. Mint was transitioning production methods. Mistakes were rare, but when they happened, they were often hidden in plain sight. This coin's origin is a mystery that has fascinated collectors for decades. Some say it was struck at a time when a mint worker accidentally skipped the mark. Others whisper that it was a tiny fluke in the machinery, a forgotten anomaly that no one thought would ever resurface. This isn't just a coin. It's a secret from history, quietly waiting in circulation. One man found a 1965 no-mint mark penny in his wallet while paying for groceries. He didn't realize its value until a friend, a passionate collector, noticed the absence of the mint mark. Within months, the coin was verified, auctioned, and sold for nearly $1 million. One moment it was pocket change. The next, it was $1 million miracle. Imagine the thrill, the rush of discovery, the disbelief, the heart-stopping moment when you realize what you're holding could make you rich beyond your wildest dreams. This tiny coin has caused grown collectors to leap out of their chairs in amazement, and seasoned dealers to scramble in disbelief. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Copies of this penny started appearing, and the hunt intensified. People started examining every penny from 1965, flipping them over, squinting at tiny details, searching for the telltale sign that could turn a few cents into $1 million. Some coins were near perfect duplicates, yet a single mark, or the lack of one, separated the ordinary from the extraordinary. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The missing mint mark isn't obvious unless you know exactly what to look for. It's not about scratches, wear, or even the coin's condition alone. It's the combination of the year, the metal composition, and that elusive absent mark. Collectors have learned that spotting these pennies requires patience, a keen eye, and a little bit of luck. One collector's unbelievable discovery nearly ended in disaster. He had found a 1965 no-mint mark penny inside a dusty old jar of coins inherited from his grandfather. He almost used it to make a phone call, a simple, careless moment that could have cost him $1 million. Instead, fate intervened, and today, that penny sits in a private collection, a shimmering testament to how fortune can hide in the most ordinary places. The frenzy is real. Dealers are scouring every coin store, every yard sale, every cash register drawer, desperate to find another 1965 no-mint mark penny. The story spreads like wildfire every time one surfaces, drawing eyes, attention, and envy. A single coin has the power to create million-dollar dreams for those who know exactly what to look for. Look carefully at the obverse, the side with Lincoln's face. No D or S mint mark should be visible beneath the year. The coin should be dated 1965, and while wear is natural, collectors prize those with minimal damage. Be wary of counterfeit attempts or post-production alterations. Dealers emphasize authenticity is everything. Even the tiniest detail can make the difference between an ordinary penny and $1 million treasure. The emotional impact is undeniable. Just holding a 1965 no-mint mark Lincoln penny connects you to decades of history, human error, and sheer luck. One moment, it's a coin in your pocket. The next, it's a gateway to life-changing wealth. Imagine discovering that fortune hiding under your couch cushions or loose in your wallet, waiting silently for the right eyes to find it. Collectors, dealers, and enthusiasts alike now keep this coin in mind every time they handle pennies. The hunt is intense, the stakes are high, and the potential rewards are breathtaking. For some, a single discovery has transformed lives. For others, the dream remains tantalizingly close, just out of reach. This is more than just a coin story. It's a story about possibility, discovery, and the extraordinary hidden in the ordinary. It's a story that inspires every collector, reminding us that treasure could be anywhere, underfoot, in a jar, or even in your pocket right now. And here's the final truth: this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Every coin tells a story, but few tell a story that can change your life forever. The 1965 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those rare miracles, a tiny piece of history that, if found, can turn your world upside down. But sold for nearly $1 million. Imagine that. A single penny, tossed aside, overlooked by generations of pocket change hunters, suddenly becoming a ticket to unimaginable wealth. That penny? The 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin that could be worth up to $1.2 million. And the craziest part? Most people pass it by without ever knowing what's hiding in their hands. In 1982, the U.S. Mint made a subtle change that most people never noticed at the time. A new composition, a shift from copper to zinc, was supposed to be routine. But somewhere in the process, a small number of pennies were struck without a mint mark, meaning they were missing the tiny D or S that would have normally marked them as Denver or San Francisco coins. That tiny omission created a coin that today commands insane attention from collectors and dealers alike. Collectors were shocked when the first few of these no-mint mark pennies surfaced at auctions. At first, people assumed they were common coins, just another 1982 penny. But then experts noticed the subtle differences in weight, color, and the strike itself. Suddenly, a coin worth 1 cent in circulation was now being valued at hundreds of thousands, and eventually, over $1 million. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A single 1982 no-mint mark penny appeared at a high-profile auction, and the bidding war was intense. Dealers who normally only collected rare coins were scrambling to get their hands on it. Some offered tens of thousands on the spot, others made private deals just to guarantee ownership. The final price? A jaw-dropping $1.2 million. And that wasn't even the first of its kind to reach such numbers. Each new discovery sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The missing mint mark isn't just a cosmetic mistake. It's a perfect example of how one small oversight at the mint can create a coin that becomes one of the most sought-after treasures in modern numismatics. Collectors know that if you own the right 1982 penny, you're holding a piece of history that could change your life forever. The origins of these coins are equally mysterious. Records from the mint are vague, and the exact number of no-mint mark pennies produced is still unknown. Some experts estimate that fewer than 1,000 exist in high-grade condition, making it rarer than almost any other modern Lincoln cent. That scarcity is what drives the prices into the millions. Dealers aren't just buying pennies, they're buying a once-in-a-lifetime chance at securing a historic piece of American coinage. Imagine finding one in your change, right now, as you sit at your kitchen table. That's exactly what happened to one lucky collector, who discovered the coin at a garage sale. They didn't know its true value at first. It wasn't until an expert weighed it, examined the strike, and confirmed the missing mint mark that the gravity of the find hit. From a few cents in their pocket to the possibility of $1 million payday, in an instant, life changed forever. But the story doesn't end there. Even seasoned collectors sometimes miss the subtle signs that separate a regular 1982 penny from a no-mint mark rarity. The coin's weight is slightly off compared to the standard 1982 copper or zinc varieties. The color and sheen are subtly different, a mix of copper and zinc tones that only a trained eye can distinguish. And the strike, that delicate imprint of Lincoln's profile, can reveal whether the coin was part of this rare batch. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on every penny they can, knowing that the next discovery could make headlines worldwide. Some are scanning coin rolls, inspecting pocket change, and even visiting banks in hopes of finding another elusive example. The competition is fierce, and the potential payoff is enormous. Imagine sitting quietly at home while someone else turns your discovery into $1 million headline. That could be you, if you know what to look for. First, check the date. Only pennies dated 1982 are in this rare category. Then, look for the absence of a mint mark. This isn't a smudge or wear, it's a clean, unmarked surface where a D should appear. Finally, examine the coin's weight and color. Compare it to standard 1982 copper and zinc pennies. Even subtle differences can reveal if you're holding something extraordinary. And remember, high-grade condition can make a difference of hundreds of thousands, if not millions, in value. Every single discovery of this penny sends shockwaves through the collecting world. From auctions to private sales, from eBay listings to high-profile dealers, these coins are treated as modern treasures. And while many people dismiss their change as ordinary, there's a very real possibility that the next great find is sitting in someone's pocket right now. Common mistakes can be costly. Don't confuse a worn 1982 penny without a mint mark with one of these rare coins. Condition is everything. The tiniest scratches, corrosion, or discoloration can reduce $1 million coin to mere hundreds. That's why experts recommend professional grading if you suspect you have one. A proper evaluation could reveal the hidden fortune you've been holding onto without knowing it. And here's the most incredible part. Despite all the attention, despite the auctions, and the millions spent, this coin remains one of the best-kept modern coin secrets. Every time a new one surfaces, it makes headlines. Every time, collectors and dealers alike scramble to buy it, knowing the next discovery could be life-changing. So, take a moment and look at your pennies. The ordinary change in your jar, your drawer, or even your wallet, one of them could be extraordinary. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million.